saying the truth, you will be the most hated person across the continent and the world. People will blacklist you. People will backstab you. People will try to undermine you, call you all types of names. I will come to that subject later. But let's go to the topic of today. That is, name any country in the world that can arrest Mr. Putin, the president of Russia. Why I brought this topic is we have total confusion about the West telling us to arrest Mr. Putin. And yet, the West, some of the countries in the West are not members of the International Criminal Court. And they are at the forefront of telling us to arrest Mr. Putin. Which country in the world can arrest Mr. Putin? Russia is a superpower equivalent to America. Russia has got nuclear weapons that can make the whole world go in 1 minute, just as United States of America. You arrest their president. Which prison will you keep him? Where will you keep him? Why do we do things which are very stupid and very useless? The International Criminal Court has become a laughing stock, a political witch hunt institution that goes around looking for people of their liking. If they don't like you in the West, they will tell ICC to come for you. Ladies and gentlemen, today I'm going to what can say. When I told Congolese and I told the people of Africa that Congo has given us a lot of headache since 1884. Congolese have been dying. Congolese have been killed by the colonial master. 1960, Congolese, after getting independence, they started killing each other. They killed Patrice Lumumba. They went on killing each other. Up to today, the Congolese are killing each other. And for me, as a person who has looked at all this and studied this subject up to the last iota on earth, I am not going to be shy as an African to suggest what can create Congo, what can bring stability. And on that day, I suggested, perhaps, I did not say go and do it. I said, perhaps, the only thing that can bring Congo is to have several states or another state for people they don't like. And that is it. Somebody in Africa has to say something, and I have said it. I have no regrets. Whatever you want to do in Africa, go and do it. You can call me all the names, rubbish names, write anything you want. But Dr. Matanga is very defiant. There's nothing you can do. If a country has been giving us headache, it is in the middle. It is poor. Its people are poor. Its people are poor, very poor in Africa. And yet, they have resources. Surely you cannot go around and be proud wearing suits, good suits from Paris, and walking around playing music that you are aware of. No! People are poor. Electricity is not there. And yet the president in Kinshasa keeps on boasting around with suits that he's ruling what? He's not ruling people. These people in Congo are bad off. No roads. At least my Uganda, there are roads. They lack in Uganda, we lack on the democracy. We don't lack roads. There are roads being built. There's infrastructure. Everybody goes to school in Uganda. Yes. But there are people in Congo who don't go to school. Some have never gone to school, and this country has got minerals, has got plenty of minerals. So what's the use of keeping minerals? And when people are suffering, a few of them are enjoying. That is my point I made. I will bring that subject on Monday. Today is not the subject. But I wanted to tell you that whatever you see is because I said the truth. And when I said the truth, my tweet went viral across the world. Everybody saw what I was saying, that it might be. It is the one that will bring us the peace we have been looking for. I did not suggest that go and do it, but I gave a suggestion. I don't know why Congolese are very annoyed with somebody who has given a suggestion. I didn't tell you to go and do it. I just gave a suggestion. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for attending this. It is impossible for Russian president to be arrested. I want to make it very clear, and I want some people to know from this platform. Russia is a member of the United Nations Security Council. It's not only a member, it is a permanent member of the United Nations Security Council. Russia employs International Criminal Court. It pays to the International Criminal Court subscription, and it funds the same court. The regulations of the International Criminal Court are clear. And I want the Russians who are here, who are hearing me, or the ambassadors who have come to hear this, to hear me. I will be moving to court to challenge the chief prosecutor of International Criminal Court. How did he arrive on charging Russia? How did he arrive on charging Russia? How did he arrive? There are three methods. If a member or a state of United Nations is not part of the Russia, you must apply to the United Nations Security Council. You must go back to seek permission to go and investigate in that particular country, which is not a member state of the International Criminal Court. Ladies and gentlemen, that is the position. There is no, don't bother yourselves. I don't know why South Africans are even bothered. South Africa cannot even touch one shoe. If Putin arrived in South Africa and he went back home, ICC will do nothing because he doesn't have the power. Which jail, which prison will you put Mr. Putin? Which one? Where? Before the Russian missiles that can kill the whole world arrive on your country. Which country in the world will risk? And let's be honest when we start discussing this. Because both sides are not using water. All of them are using sophisticated equipment. Russians have a case. They also see all this new equipment that we are giving to Ukraine is landing on people. It is not landing in the air. It's landing on people in Russia. So how did the chief prosecutor determine which side to take? It was a political miscalculation that he has taken. It's a political quagmire that he has caused to the court.
Yeah, that is true. That is true, David.
Let's go slowly. I'm going to allow you to speak. It's a very big political miscalculation. How did you not go back to the Security Council and demand from the Security Council that there are crimes in Russia. Russia is not a signatory of the United Nations International Criminal Court. America is not a signatory. India is not a signatory. Brazil is not a signatory. China is not a signatory. Saudi Arabia, all these countries are not a signatory. You don't just walk into their countries and grab people. You have to go to the Security Council and lay your case. You don't do backward legal work in your small office in ICC in The Hague and run with papers to give the judge that I am going to investigate in where I am going to pick Putin. Isn't that too much to swallow? You pick a member of the superpower, a president of Russia, touch him even 1 minute, there will be a third world war. There will be a third world war. If we are looking for a third world war, let's go and arrest Putin. This gymnastics of threatening Ramaphosa, and Ramaphosa is checking in his trousers, saying, oh, I don't come. No! If you are a real African, allow this man to come and challenge the ICC decision. Mr. Ramaphosa is making silly mistakes. He's my good friend, but he's not making good progress on this one. A few days ago, a few weeks ago, some people from high delegation from South Africa requested me to give them an opinion. And I gave an opinion, quoted all the articles in the Rome Statute that can protect South Africa. If you have invited Mr. Putin, was this procedure of indicting Mr. Putin the best procedure? Yes or no? No. It wasn't the best procedure. Therefore, the warrants can be issued, but they are fake. They are fake. They are fake in law. The basis was not followed. The procedure was not followed. You can't just wake up and issue warrant. You must follow the procedure by going through the Security Council to seek permission. Lay your questions on the Security Council. But you can't use politics because everybody is all of us, even me, I sympathize with Ukraine, the suffering which is taking place. But we have not seen the other. We are arming Ukraine with sophisticated latest equipment. I am happy that Britain, where I'm speaking from, refused to give the latest aeroplanes. These are the latest aeroplanes that you can use that carry warheads, nuclear warheads. And this is what the man is looking for. The guy is walking around looking for those weapons. And those weapons are going to land on people. They are not landing on buildings only. They are in those buildings, there are people. Therefore, instead of seeking peace, we are looking for war. Is there any country? You name it to me. Wake up as I give you the microphone. As I land and I allow my co-host to warm up her microphone and tell us one or two things. Then we'll go to my friend from South Africa, Ndolov, Tolani Ndolov. Then we come to Mr. Serge Lavares, and then I can see Bento Muchewa, I don't know from where. I'll all line up. We want to hear more. Is there any country in Africa, in the world, that can now say Putin's plane is there landed, Air Force One of Russia, go and arrest him? How long will you hold him? Where will you hold him? Let's be honest. I don't think the ICC did a correct move. This is a public relations stunt. And then, as you discuss that also, I hear there are some African heads of state headed by the president of South Africa who want to go to Ukraine and Russia to mediate. Are we running mad? These African heads of state cannot even mediate one conflict of Sudan, one conflict of Libya, one conflict of Somalia, one conflict of DRC Congo. Oh my God. And they want to go to mediate in Russia and Ukraine. Mr. Ramaphosa, have you lost your mind? If you can't host the conference of BRICS, allow India to host it, and you fly to India, and Mr. Putin will go to India, and then India will not arrest Mr. Putin. Don't bring us this confusion on the African continent. Don't. I've written my letter, and I want my people in Nairobi, post that letter here. Post it. I've written it to Ramaphosa. Don't play. Don't play. This we must put on record so that history can quote me tomorrow that there was a man in Uganda. There was a man, a Ugandan born, a Pan-African, who used to refuse some of the things that African presidents do, which are childish. Completely childish. You can't tell me that because you want to host BRICS conference in South Africa, you say, I want to go and bargain with Russia and Ukraine. Who are you? Why can't you go and bargain with Libya, which gave you arms to liberate yourselves? Why? Why can't you go to Sudan, Mr. Ramaphosa? Mr. Ramaphosa, I stood by you on this thing of Farafara farms. My friend Dolov will know. Dolov, you are aware I was hated by so many South Africans when I stood with the president on the side. But I want to be very honest. And I'm only one. Welcome to the show, Wandera. And you better hear me. I'm the only person, Wandera, you will have who will tell the truth. Hate me, don't like me, I don't care. I told Congolese they are mourning everywhere. You mourn. In fact, I'm going to add more on Monday. If Congo can bring us disease every day, everything, disease, sickness, every day in Africa, why do we keep it as it is? Yes, not everybody who listened to Jesus agreed. I might be one of those who don't agree with Africans. If a nation is too big, too poor, its natives are suffering. Some are being injured, killed, humanitarian catastrophe. They don't want advice. So what do? Balkanize it, cut it into several parts. Don't threaten people here that, oh, Congo. What does Congo do when you are a refugee? You are a refugee in Ukraine, in Europe, washing plates in Europe. Then you say, don't cut Congo. When you have run away from Congo because of the same problem. And you go on because you know you have a computer, but you don't know what the pygmy in the forest in Garamba Park, what they are suffering. They have never seen. No, and we keep quiet, we stay here. That we are talking Congo, we want Congo. Congo what? Today is a topic different. Show me one country in the world that can arrest Putin. If this is not just a public relations stance by the ICC, a moribund fake organization called ICC. I'm the only one who can dare it to say, because I have enough evidence on them, I'll bring them down. If they ever dare to, they know it. Karim Khan knows. Karim Khan got the job because of Matsanga. Who had complained? It's Matsanga who complained. Because they wanted to fix the another man from Spain. I had to write a letter. Karim would not be a chief prosecutor. Kwenda. Don't play. Don't make these people think that they have now reached there. He's saying, I'm a chief prosecutor going to arrest a Putin. What nonsense are you talking about? Can you arrest him, Putin, and put him in which jail? They will bomb you in a day. You will cause a third world war. Some of us want to stay longer on this earth. I don't know whether Wandera wants to die today. You can die. Me, I want to live longer. If God can say there is life forever, Wana, I would rather stay longer. Eh? There are some people here who want to stay longer, like me. If you touch Putin, you have touched a third world war. They will come for you. Those Russians will not sit and have you that you are parading Putin in a jail in The Hague. They will bomb that Hague. They will send missiles across. Nuclear missiles. They will send. Why did Britain yesterday refuse to give this comic so-called small president wearing one T-shirt all the time? Useless. 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 We know people are dying in Ukraine. We sympathize. We sympathize with their plight. But their president is a joker. He's a comedian. He has transferred comedy into presidency. He says, go and collect African presidents, and I want to come and address them. Who are you with a vest, wearing a vest, a T-shirt? You want to address our African presidents? Who are you? Some of these presidents on Africa, I like the way the president of Kenya is coming up. I wish him good luck on African issues, because most of us have been hated because of that. Mr. President, if your people are on the line here listening, I like your sentiments on Pan-Africanism. There we concur. On a very, very strongly we concur. Some of the issues, African people, how can you say you want African solution for African problems when you are begging the same people to give you money to fund the solution? Mr. President, you are correct. I give a credit where it is due. And that is the way I feel. So for me, when Ramaphosa says, Stephen, can you put the letter on the chat here? I want people to read that letter. You have the letter, please. You should be ready to paste the letter on here so that people can read it, continue to read, and internalize the letter. The letter which I've written to Ramaphosa, and which questions I seek to know. When did he realize? Why doesn't he just do and follow African? Why don't you leave ICC? Why are you there? Why are you still there? Why don't you form your African Court of Justice equivalent to ICC? How long shall we continue to be colonized? How long will our minds be colonized? Up to when? Thank you very much, Miriam. That is, name any country in the world that can arrest Mr. Putin, the Russian president, because of the fake warrants of International Criminal Court. Let's start the journey. Miriam Ogutu.
All right. A very good morning from Nairobi. About 10 minutes to midday here. I'll just do a very quick background, but I think you've mentioned a lot of these things. So South Africa is planning to roll out the red carpet for Russian President Vladimir Putin, despite an international arrest warrant against him over alleged war crimes in Ukraine. In the latest indication of South Africa's deepening ties with Moscow, Pretoria is set to welcome the Russian president for the BRICS bloc summit in August. It comes after the country initially asked Putin to attend the Emerging Economies Summit made up of Russia, South Africa, Brazil, India, and China over Zoom due to the legal concerns, an invitation that Kremlin rejected. But now, It is being reported that President Cyril Ramaphosa's deputy is heading up a committee to examine international domestic laws as well as the Rome Statute, which created the International Criminal Court. It was the ICC who issued an arrest warrant for the Russian leader in March, a move which Putin condemned as outrageous. The ICC called for Putin's arrest on March the 17th and accused Putin of committing war crimes by abducting Ukrainian children from their homes and deporting them to Russia to be given to the Russian families. South Africa has so far refused to condemn Russia's invasion of Ukraine, while it has not shown support for the sanctions imposed on Moscow. Despite initial legal advice stating that South Africa was obliged to act on Putin's arrest warrant, Zenda Gore, the country's foreign ministry director general, said, and I'll quote him, "We have a legal opinion, but another independent legal opinion has been sought so that we make sure of the action that will be taken." Considered one of Moscow's closest allies on the continent, South Africa says it is impartial and has abstained from voting on UN resolutions on the war. News of Putin's potential trip to South Africa comes after accusations were made from the United States that Pretoria covertly supplied weapons to Moscow, a move that will break with its professed neutrality. Russia's Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov firmly ruled out any indication that Putin would attend the BRICS bloc summit virtually more than 6,000 miles away. Back to you. Doc, can you
There
hear
you
me?
are. Yes,
Thank
I
you.
hear you. Thank you very much. I think now you can hear for yourselves. My letter has hit hard and ruffled the South African. Thank you very much. If you can give me a clap for this. We have one button number one, and there you are. They will roll out. Thank you very much. I don't know where this clapping thing is on equipment, but I can be clapped for that. My letter, I reasoned and I said, surely, how do you just accept a warrant of arrest without contesting how the warrant of arrest was done? How the warrant of arrest was done. And that is my point. My argument is not that people are not dying. People are dying in Ukraine. And that is very bad state. Thank you very much, Miriam, for that analysis. Nobody, if there is anybody who knows who, even America itself, if Putin decides to come to New York, United Nations General Assembly, or the United Nations to address United Nations, they will not arrest him because they will know they have broken out a world war number 3. It will break out that same minute. Mr. Fulani Ndorov, please take the mic. Mr. Ndorov, are you ready to take the mic?
Oh yeah. Good morning, everybody. My name is Solano from Durban, in KZN, South Africa country. I hear the topic. I think it's everybody's one.
Yes. We are hearing you.
Yeah. I don't think the South Africa can handle to arresting the president of Russians, Mr. Putin. The Russia is a very dangerous country, and they have a lot of sources. Even previous history, the South Africa and the Russia country, it was getting the relationship, and those two countries, they are in BRICS. I'm right. Uh, the secondly, in around the world, I don't think we have any country they will arrest the Putin, because Putin is a dangerous man. The Russia is a dangerous country. So in my own, I don't think the South Africa can hang to arrest him in August. I don't think so. That is it. I can say for about that topic. That's it.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ndolov from South Africa. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I also think I have the same feeling. I don't think anybody will touch. Maybe there's some people who think he can be arrested, under which jail you can put because you have to have nuclear weapons. Saj, Mr. Saj Lee
Yes,
Varais.
yes, yeah. All right, I'm greeting everybody here. I'm gonna go straight to the topic. Any country in the world that can arrest Russian President Mr. Putin, that is not even possible. No country can arrest Mr. Putin. Yep. Okay, America can arrest Putin. France can arrest Putin. Belgium can arrest Putin and all that, but it's gonna be the end of the world. Or maybe it's gonna be a nuclear war. Like maybe it's gonna be the third world war. And they know about it. The reason why you see even Mr. Ukraine president claiming those helicopter or maybe those air forces, they don't give him because they know. They don't want to put the intense in the world. They're tired, but they're just too proud. They don't want to accept it that they need to come. But I salute Mr. Ramaphosa for his courage, because South African President Ramaphosa says, as a delegation of African leaders, will soon travel to Russia and Ukraine to present a peace plan. At least he tried. Okay, that's how I like it. So, Mr. President, he announced it of the planned trip that come on Tuesday during the media briefing with the visiting of Singapore Prime Minister Lee. I think it's Lee Asian Long. So he said that a group of African heads of the state put forward the peace of initiative could contribute to the solution in Russia in Ukraine conflict. So for me, I think that's at least he's trying to, he's trying to manage something instead of like just sitting right there. I really like his courage. I really like his courage at least to talk about it. So they've been talking about African leaders because of they included the conflict part of the world, much as that like affect Africa directly in the form of death and then distractions and infrastructures. If you go in Europe right now, there's a crisis. They know it, but they cannot accept it. They don't want to lay down. They don't, because they're so proud. Their ego. Their ego. I don't know how you call blay. I know blay. I don't know how you call blay in English. Ukraine have a 4 station of blay, and right now the blay is more people use blay a lot in Europe. So right now they're in crisis like triple times. So they know about that, but what they can do? They can do nothing because they got so proud. They know, but they also don't support Ukraine like that. Think about this guy being asking them for air force and none of them giving him zero. They're just supporting him, money, just not even a lot of money, like here and there. But Ukraine is their own. They have a right to stop. Also, the Ukraine guy, I don't know why he's following these people. These people here, Occident, they will come to you. They will tell you, we go and then we're gonna come after you, and then they cannot, because they know they are also don't depend on their own. These people scared of war, especially these Americans and what they're scared. They don't want to go to the war. They don't want a third war. But Putin showed them he's ready for that. And then at the same time, if you look at very good, if you look at very well, the way they left the guy behind. Ukraine have a right to come together with his brother or with his, I don't know, Putin. Those people, they've been together for a long time. Everything was fine. But for some reason, they're trying to give him some nice highs. Hey, we're gonna put you back to Euro. Hey, we're gonna put you to NATO. We're gonna put you to NATO. Until now, and then the guy thought maybe if he put his shoulder against his big brother Putin, then they're gonna put him to NATO. No, it was an NON. So look at now. I think at least somebody trying to approach with the peace. And then Putin say he's open to any kind of peace. He's open. He said it all the time. So Ramaphosa, for now, I'll clap him for his encourage, at least to bring something on the table, while those people, they just being able, eating their cake, all that. So for that to be saying that, I've been like, and also for Dr. Matanga, as a Congolese person, I think when you say Congo was poor, I felt not very happy about that. I know you guys have been, people have been throwing stones on you too much, but as a public figure person, as a journalist, what I'm gonna ask you, if you follow those people, it's gonna mess you in terms of like a credibility, because now you're mad. You are now talking something out of whom because you're mad. They've been calling you names and all that. Because me, I'm a Congolese. You can call them that are all poor like that, but that's not really, that's how it's supposed to be happen. And then I think we should come to the point we really want us to understand, but the way it's getting out of the control. As your follower, I feel as a Congolese, it's not sounding good, Mr. Dr. Mtsanga. Thank you. Oh, you guys didn't hear me? Oh, hello.
Yes, thank you very much, my brother from Congo. Don't worry. I was giving my suggestion on Congo. I did not tell you to go and petition Congo. But if you were asked what is the best alternative, now that for 63 years, Congo has been fighting. Up to today, Congo is fighting. Tomorrow, it will fight. One side of Congo, my brother, tells the other side, we don't know you. You don't come from here. You are not Congolese. Another side says, but we were born here. So given that, I was not saying go and cut it. No. People took it out. The truth is, in Congo, people are in poverty. And yet the government eats all the money. They have the money, they don't utilize it on the people. There are some people in Congo who have never seen electricity. There are some people in Congo where there is no road. There's never been a road. There are some places, yet people come and dig diamonds and take them. That is my point. If it has, whatever it is, they can do whatever they want, but because they want to change me. The other time the South Africans were here on the same subject, got annoyed on me when I stood and said, most of us in Africa helped to liberate South Africa. They took on me, they said we did not play a role because I was defending, telling them don't do xenophobia on people. They are also human beings. Now, later on, we became friends because they agreed with some of my points. But the Congolese, I am not a friend of the two men who rule Uganda and Rwanda. They are not my friends. So don't count me because I'm a Ugandan and you think I've come to take any territory. I am just suggesting, and I was just suggesting that maybe balkanization or confederation could make things better. Maybe if you put them under confederation.
I have a question
that
for you, Dr.
within a
Mutsanga.
state-
Can I ask you a question, sir?
Yes.
So people thought if they segment Sudan, there will be peace or something like that. Since the segmentation, what did the segmentation bring in Sudan?
This was a suggestion. Segmentation is a very dangerous thing. But if it is the only alternative, that is all I said. If it's the only alternative, what can you do?
So for that being
Yes.
saying, I like the way you said it. It was an alternative, it's an idea. Me myself, I'm a Congolese by blood. And then I appreciate you come and giving the alternative. Like for now, anybody will try, like for example, like to come in the idea, it's gonna be the craziest ethnicity problem. We need to come up with something in Africa. I always talk about this. We need to come about something, or maybe go back to the genetic of Africa, because these things of presidents and here and there, it's not helping us at all. Why I'm saying that? Look at how we left all those our culture. That's why I always tell people about South Africa. The reason why I love South Africa because I've been there for 5 years. I've seen how they respect their culture and their home. When anybody come from America, go to South Africa, go back to home, they go to their hometown, their village. But it's not like in Congo. Everybody go to Kinshasa. Everybody go to the Lubumbashi. But if we really spend time in a village and then see how those ancestors, I don't know, I call it the chief. So we need to give back the power to the chief. But it is one thing that as a Congolese that I'm going to tell you that the conflict of East of Congo is coming to the end, because anything that you do, the end is always hurt more than the beginning. I swear, get this today. The conflict in Congo, it's about to end. That's why it's more louder. That's my lane, that's my country. I know it's about to end, and we're about to solve this problem, and then there will be less blood. That's why you hear people talking more louder, because they don't want the way it happened this way. Because if you ask them why you want the Balkanization, because I'm not from there. I'm not from East of Congo, but I talk about East of Congo because I'm a patriot. The only thing that people gonna be shocked, because they will see that the actual president, I know you disagree with him many times, I know you really don't like him like that, but still, us as a Congolese, in 4 years,
No, brother, Saji.
Yes.
I am the only one. Did you know that I'm the only one in Africa who stood against the AU when they said they should not recognize the elections? Go and look at my website.
Oh, it's my bad. Sorry.
I'm the only one who stood by Tshisekedi. I am the one I'm the one who pressurized President Uhuru Kenyatta to go for the function. How can I not like him?
Yes. So I just follow.
Are not doing a service. I am not. Don't worry about that.
I swear, Dr. Mutsanga, I swear to God, trust me. Like for me, I always see how you guys are feeling for my fellow Congolese people. The way I just got it that way, but I should have caught you from the beginning and go and see all those kind of stuff. I just met you like maybe 2 days ago. Like I don't know you, man, like that. But if you do that, I appreciate you. But to inform here, like this guy that we have right now, it's not, in French we said a parvenu. It's not a parvenu. It's somebody that is trying to make Congo to look better than yesterday. Only for 4 years, without any bloodshed, is trying to fight without a war. He's trying to bring ASA to not fight, because it's not like Congolese army cannot fight. Congolese army can fight, but he doesn't want that. That's the reason you see calling his fellow brother to witness us to do something different than before. So I'm sorry if I might misunderstand, but I'm asking you as a strong man, as somebody who's a Pan-Africanist, don't fall for emotion when somebody attacks you. Don't go there. We want you. We want your news. We want your knowledge. It's just that balkanization exists, but balkanization is not going to bring peace, because even if in East themselves, you hear this one, they kill each other. Those people, they kill each other. They are from from same province. If they cut that province, you think there'll be peace? Always a problem. I give you an example of Sudan. People think if they segment Sudan, there'll be peace. No peace. We don't want a segmentation. We don't want division. We don't want balkanization. All we want in Congo is we want a peace. That's all we want.
Thank you very much. Now you know you better go to my website and find out. I am the only one who stood by Tshisekedi when Dr. Muhammad Faki of AU wrote a letter and said all presidents in Africa should not recognize the election of President Tshisekedi. And I encouraged the President Uhuru Kenyatta from Nairobi. I was in Nairobi. I was flying to another assignment. We talked to President Kenyatta and I said, you go and witness his election. You remember it was only President Kenyatta who attended the election, the swearing-in ceremony. So if Congolese turn around and hate me because I have suggested, I didn't say go under petition. These people in the East are your people. That's all I'm saying. They are your people. Accommodate them. And that's why the refugee agencies and the UN called me last night and said, don't touch that topic. Leave it. Let's settle this matter quietly. Because I was going to bring that topic today so that we square it out today. I did not say go under petition. I said it could be. Balkanization could be the answer. Because one side of the country does not see the other. So what do you do with that? The rebels themselves don't tell you where they get their support. That is also a big... The government itself has militias that they have also deployed to kill people. So what do you do in the middle? So that is it. I've left it for God. Let's proceed with this topic. Name any country in the world. Kunai, thank you very much for coming. I can see you down there. Thank you very much for attending. Was it Constitutional Affairs of South Africa or Bento? Who of you was here
Bento.
first?
Bento.
Okay, Bento, and then Constitution first of South Africa, my good friend. Then we followed by TK, then followed by OBA, Mr. Obasi, then followed by then followed by Mr. Putin himself. I hope you are the real one. Mr. Putin, Bento, go ahead.
Thank you, Dr. Matanga and the co-host Radio Punch. Yeah, look, I'll go straight to the topic. No one under the sun can arrest the Russian president because Russia is a superpower, very strong. If they do that, there will be Armageddon. They couldn't even arrest Bashir when he went to South Africa. They wanted South Africa to arrest him. They couldn't. They had to persuade Kenya to hand over Uhuru and Ruto. They are very weak, moribund, fake, imperialistic, and racist, and it's just there to abet imperialistic tendencies of the West. So I'm saying they can never arrest Putin. I come from Zimbabwe, the revolutionary country, which is being led by ZANU-PF, one of the oldest and biggest parties in Africa. You know, we are in solidarity with people who fight for real freedom, not fake freedom. They can never arrest Putin. They don't have the gravitas to do that. So that's my contribution. Thank you. Thank you, Doka. I've landed.
Thank you very much. Mr. Constitutional.
Yes. Good morning, good afternoon, good day.
How are you, Mudara? How are you, Mudara?
No, I'm good, Doc. I'm good, Dr. Machanga. And I hope everyone in the space as well is good. Thanks as well to your co-host.
William, you can control the space now.
Okay. I think my views are slightly different from your views, Dr. Matang and others. In the sense that I don't even think Russia is justified to be invading Soviet territories. That's the first thing. They have no business in invading. They have no reasons. Even those who have said before, who have come and justify Russia's aggression, they still can't give us plausible reasons why Russia should militarily invade a sovereign state like Ukraine. That's the first thing. There is some issue which is being pushed that no, because Ukraine was moving closer to NATO and then blah blah blah. That NATO, that business of NATO and Russia, it is not going to end anywhere. I was saying, if Russia, let's say Ukraine had given in and said, okay, take us over, or we're not going to fight back, then who's next? The neighboring states is Poland, is Romania, you get Finland, and those who are, they also are NATO nations, and they are closer to Russia. Where is this thing going? It's going closer to England most, because Russia will still feel threatened by the presence of Poland, which will be bordering Ukraine, which will have been annexed by Russia. And then you still have this NATO being too close to Russia. So that to me, it looks like an endless exercise of Russia wanting to amass as much land around them. So that's the first thing. I believe that Russia had no justification to invade Ukraine. Secondly, Ukraine has less than 300,000 soldiers, like men on the ground. Russia has over 1 million soldiers on the ground. Almost 18 months later, Russia has moved 10 inches. I believe this fear-monger about Russia being a powerful, on paper, and on the asset register, Russia has more ammunition, has more military toys. They have more soldiers. But I don't believe Russian soldiers are competent enough to withstand any of the powerful NATO nations. They can't deal with Ukraine, which has a quarter of the size of their nation. I'm talking about foot soldiers. Let alone the fact that we can say NATO feeds Ukraine with arms. But if we talk about Russia being at one point Russia was number 2, even though that one it ended up being overtaken by China. It was number 2 when it comes to military prowess. But now I'm not so sure if you do the military rankings again, Russia will sit there. They can't defeat in familiar territory. It's not like Russia is fighting. It's like America going to the desert in Afghanistan in unfamiliar territory. Russia is fighting in familiar territory, just next door. No change in terms of climate, no change of the landscape, the same thing. Yet they cannot defeat Ukraine in a period of a year. And people say, no, Russia is a powerhouse. The only thing Russia is wielding around is the nuclear power. But we all know nuclear power is what they call MAD, mutually assured destruction. So if you attack a nation with a nuclear arm, you are as well inviting that nuclear attack in your own nation. I don't think Russians will allow Putin to press a nuclear nuke to any other nation which has nuclear arms, because it is assured that as well that nation will respond equally, and then
So
both nations will.
are you, my brother? Are you saying you can arrest? Stick to the topic. Are you?
Yes, yes, I'm going there, Dr. Mashal, but I wanted to lay the ground.
No, wait.
I wanted to lay.
If Mr. Putin comes to South Africa, can you put him in a jail in Johannesburg?
Yes, that's where I wanted to say. That's what I wanted to come.
Come. You are my constitutional lawyer, so come.
Okay, that's the first thing that we have to say. Secondly, South Africa is a treaty to Roman Statute that has to be respected. That we said we will abide to international treaties. If someone who's facing international human rights crimes comes here to South Africa, we have to abide with our own laws, our own treaties to the international crimes, and arrest him. I don't understand why will Putin come to a state which is abiding to the Rome Statute and still expect nothing to happen to him. Why are they putting pressure to South Africa, whereas they know South Africa is signatory to the Rome Statute? I don't understand why this question is asked the other way around. South Africa has to abide to those laws. Why is Putin coming to such a nation like South Africa? Why is it? I'm not sure whether it will be it could be kept here. But in terms of arrest, an attempt has to be made to arrest Putin if he ever lands his feet here in South Africa. That's one of the things we have to keep hammering, that Putin has to go to nations which will never arrest him. But in South Africa, we are sticking to the Rome Statute. He can go to India, he can go to Brazil. They are not signatory to the Rome Statute. But South Africa is a signatory, and they cannot turn back just because they have to please the ego of Vladimir Putin. That's my only issue that I have. Someone is making noise now. So there's someone who has not closed his mic.
I think the Russians are making noise.
But what I'm saying when Dr. Matsanga is, if there is a nation which is a signatory to the Rome Statute, Putin must not go and provoke that nation and go to it. It's a provocation. And still,
your phone.
Come again.
Is making noise, Mr. Kiberenge.
I think it's Sergi Livrais, and it's Sergi Livrais whose thing is not muted. But to round off when Dr. Matsanga on this point, the presence of Russia, I understand the BRICS set up before this the Russian invasion. You know, this is a rotation that is this country, not before Russian invasion, before the ICC decided to issue a warrant of arrest to Putin. So South Africa was known even since last year that they will host the BRICS nation. So people can't shift and say, no, South Africa should have not agreed. This thing has always been in the calendar of the BRICS. Not to invite Putin to come here, because he either pleases Putin or he has to abide by South African laws. South African laws agree that any any criminal who has been indicted by the ICC has to be arrested by South Africa. It's even worse that Omar al-Bashir came in South Africa and he was not arrested. Because it was not because South Africa refused to arrest, because South African government lied. They lied and said, no, this guy is still safe, he has not gone to the airport. It's not because they defied. They had to lie to the court and say, no, he's still around. This time around, there will be no room to lie. So he has to be.
I was in South Africa with Bashir. in that conference.
Yes, yes, yes.
I was in that conference. And I was one of the few people who told the South Africans not to touch Bashir because Bashir's case was based on false, fake evidence. And for Russians who are on this platform, I've already told you, talk to me. Talk to me. I'm the only one ICC fears in the whole world. This case, Mr. Constitution, you are saying the Roma Statute. You cannot go to a country which is not a signatory and start investigations without prior permission from the United Nations Security Council if that country is not a signatory.
I agree, Dr. Matsanga. I agree, but that argument
you are saying you are law-abiding. Let's go slowly. You say you are a law-abiding country.
Yes.
Somebody comes, for example, Matsanga can come to South Africa. Uganda and South Africa are signatories. You can arrest me. But for the chief prosecutor to go and file an application to the chambers without going through to go and arrest the Prime Minister of India without notification, without authority, it is wrong.
Dr. Matsanga,
let me tell you, there is nowhere where the chief prosecutor of International Criminal Court has filed a notice to the United Nations Security Council that I need you to give me permission to go into Russia to investigate Russia. He failed. Therefore, I'm going to collapse that warrant.
Yes, Dr. Matsanga, I fully agree with you. I fully agree, but that battle is for Russia and the UN to fight, not for South Africa to enter into. Now there is a warrant of arrest. We can't
No, you South Africans are bringing us a mess on this continent. You are our leaders. You are the main country that we look to.
We're also a signatory to the Rome Statute. You should all join
you are our
to protect
then
the
why
own
did
citizens.
You accept? My point with President Ramaphosa is why did you accept for BRICS meeting to be in that place? Then tell the people that take the BRICS meeting to India.
Yes, but Dr. Matsanga, I said the calendar of BRICS.
Don't confuse us. Don't confuse us in Africa. We don't
yes,
want
but
to
Dr. Matsanga, Dr. Matsanga, remember, I said this thing. The BRICS calendar is already out. We already know what in 2025 where the BRICS, the nation which will host the BRICS. It's a calendar which came. The indictment came just now. Just came 2 months ago. So you can't say South Africa should have not accepted to host the BRICS nation.
A calendar which was indictment direct head on. Allow Putin to come to Johannesburg, open the conference, return home. The rest we can sort. I have already written a letter. Stephen, can you put that letter on this platform here? I've shown you the articles which you can forward the chief prosecutor's argument. Don't you have lawyers in South Africa? Don't you have lawyers?
Yes, but Russia must fight its own battle. We can't fight Russian battle.
You say Ramaphosa fears America.
No, it's not necessary. It's not necessary.
No. We know what he's doing. He fears America. Were you not in America recently?
No, I agree, but I'm saying people want us to fear Russia as well. People want us to fear Russia.
Involved in these things. Why are we getting involved? Why are you bringing this war of Ukraine to us? When we have our own war in Congo, we have our own war in Libya, we have our own war in Sudan. Why are you bringing this war to us? Why is
Putin must not come to Africa.
This war to us?
Putin must not come into Africa. He knows that he's a wanted criminal.
Be allowed to come to Africa because the warrant was fake. That's a fake warrant. That's it. I'm telling you. And we are going to contest because the Russians might be undermined. We are going to contest. We are going to contest that warrant. Mr. Karim Khan should have gone to the Security Council to seek permission to investigate. I want to ask you before you land your mic.
Yes, Dr. Matsanga.
You mean the bombs that the bombs that Ukraine is sending in Russia, they are landing in water?
No, not in
Answer
Russia.
me.
There are no, but
No,
Dr. Matsanga, you have to first.
Don't tell me this.
Yes, I want to
Are
answer,
the
but
bombs
you have to
landing
be
on buildings? Are the bombs landing on human beings? Are the bombs not destroying property in Russia?
No, there are no bombs that are landing in Russia, Dr. Matsanga. You have to be factual in your question.
No, I am saying Ukraine is sending missiles into Russia.
No,
Yeah,
that's not factual. That's not factual.
Ukraine
It hasn't been
fighting with
established.
water?
No, I'm saying what
with water?
No, but Dr.
Is
Matsanga,
Ukraine
there is
fighting
no
with water or bullets?
no. They are defending themselves with arms, not fighting. Not they are not attacking
and when
Russia.
When you defend yourself, don't you kill?
No, they have to kill.
Answer one
They have to
question.
kill to protect themselves.
So
they have
are
to
they
kill to
killing
protect
snakes,
themselves.
trees, animals? They are not killing people at all. The
No,
Russians
but they have
are
right
not
to
being killed.
self-defense. They have right to
You know what I'm
self-defense.
the point I'm trying to drive at is this. My brother, listen to me. The point I'm driving at is this. People are dying on both sides. We needed an independent international court like ICC to go and pick both leaders on this side and leaders on this side. That's how we did in Yugoslavia. Why are you choosing Putin only? And you leave this cowboy who walks with a t-shirt everywhere. He thinks that some of us want to see his muscles. Rubbish. You think we want to see the muscles that is showing us the muscles everywhere with a t-shirt? The whole president of a country with a t-shirt everywhere he goes. He went to Britain here. Britain refused to give him. Why is it that super countries are refusing to give him arms? Sophisticated jet fighters that can finish the war. Why?
Can I ask this question before I leave, Dr. Matsanga? Was Russia justified to attack?
Because I don't see, you have not even helped us.
So was Russia justified to attack Ukraine?
We can't hear you, sir.
No, I'm saying, was Russia justified to attack Ukraine?
Russia justified to do what?
To attack militarily, attack Ukraine. Were they justified?
Do you know the root cause yourself?
No, I'm saying were they justified? I don't know.
Do you know a man called George Soros? Do you know the man who created the Orange Revolution in Ukraine? Do you know how much money he stole from Russia? And where is Mr. George Soros? Well, some of you Africans, you must go back to school and study. Especially you who is a lawyer, who is an international lawyer, you must go and study your international relations before you come to challenge people on an international platform. Mr. George Soros went to Russia and took their money. The Russians have issued a warrant of arrest for Mr. George Soros, who sponsors you people, some of you in South Africa. And George Soros has never returned that money to the Russians. So we should all of us die in the world because of George Soros? He has never. Russia has his own record with a warrant of arrest on Interpol. Go to the Interpol website today. You will find a warrant of arrest for Mr. George Soros by the Russian government. No, let's talk frankly. You can't come and cause a war and then you bring us into a war. South Africa government is bringing us into a war we don't want. Some of us in Africa have too many wars here. We have DRC Congo, we have Sudan burning, we have Somalia here. You see where the wars are now. Why do you want us to bring us into an international conflict? Why is it that George Soros does not return these people's money? He went and banked. Do you know when the strike started? The first place that they bombed were banks. Why did Russia bomb banks first? Because those are the banks of Mr. George Soros. Why is the president of France, begging Russia that please don't bomb us? Because George Soros' banks are in Russia. Are in Paris. It is the bank from Paris that was to give Uganda money for the Hoima Mwanza pipeline. It was George Soros. Let's be honest. On this platform, I don't want people to lie. We want to hear people's own views. Russians are human beings. Americans are human beings. But all of us are human beings. Why should African heads of state say they want to go and negotiate in Russia-Ukraine conflict when they can't negotiate even an inch in Sudan or Congo? Let's have a next speaker. I believe the next speaker himself is Putin. Where has he gone? He has jumped off. I think, Mr. Putin yourself, come on. Whether you're a black Putin.
Excuse me, can I ask a question, please?
Who is this?
To Mr. Amwene. I want to ask a question to Mr. Constitution.
Oh, yes. Okay, Mr. Putin is coming in, but you can ask your question.
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, so I wanted to... I'm not a doctor. I'm a very simple people. I'm a driver. So I want to ask to Mr. Constitution. ICC was an idea of African?
Mr. Constitution,
I'm a driver, Matatu driver. I'm a very simple people. I'm not a doctor.
I also had a question. I'm going to answer that question.
Okay.
Hello,
was ICC an African issue?
hello, people. Hello, everyone.
Thank you very much.
I want to say good day or good morning to everyone who here today. And I really like the team because I think the team is very wonderful formed. Don't worry, we're going to answer you, sir. We're going to answer you.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right.
To answer you.
Unless you
wait. When you come you are coming next. Then you ask him to answer you. I will allow him to answer you. Thank you. Mr. Putin, go ahead.
Thank you. So can any country in the world can arrest a Russian president? First of all, that is already misunderstood because according to the ICC regulations, or in any regulation, no country is allowed to arrest a president who is in the office. You are not allowed to arrest any president who is in the office. So when Mr. Constitution was talking here, I don't know which constitution did he read, that any president can be arrested while in the office. That's why I'm so shocked when sometimes I listen to some African youth when they enter into certain matters without understanding. They just follow into emotions and they start talking because they've listened to some people in their area talking about the issue without understanding what is going on. And here they come and bring the same thing here. We have to stop these things. First of all, the United States of America is not even a member of the ICC. All those big powerhouses, none of them is part of that because they've understood it is a criminal court of poor country. It's an extension of an American court to deal with people who are not aligned and walk into the same line with American American ways of understanding of doing things. That's why you understand that everyone, when you go away from American way of doing, they want to put in that criminal charge, they want to put in that criminal court, which is the ICC. So now today we're having a president who can someone put his mic off there? I think it's Kibireng. Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm well, thank you. We're muted there.
Yeah, we hear you. We hear you.
Okay, who's got his mic on there?
Yeah, some people, everybody tries to get in. Go ahead now, Mr. Putin, and land your points quickly. We want you have, please.
I also had a question.
All right. So, okay. So all this thing here of ICC, those are things which are made, as I said, I want to respond to Mr. Kibirengi's question, is that those things are aligned to arrest poor African presidents, poor countries. It's an extension of American court, so-called International Criminal Court, which is part of American just trying to align certain people who are not going the American way. So to see now there's someone talking about Putin supposed to be arrested without understanding how this conflict of Ukraine, how did it started, what is the aim, what is the aim of America against Russia, how they're extending their empire in Europe in order to try to control Russia. We cannot speak like that here without understanding what is going on in Russia and thinking that that's what we have to solve. And I like exactly what the doctor said. Currently, we have many of Africans who are working alongside with the American, and here we find we caught ourselves. We don't even talk about Africa alone. How Africa alone, how us as African, we can be a powerhouse one day. Because in our countries, in our continent, we still have presidents who are working tirelessly with this American ideology of controlling the world. For example, we have the president of Uganda, which is Museveni. We're having the president Paul Kagame. Those are two personalities which in Africa currently, they are causing war against Congo. And if you look behind it, if you look behind the curtains, those two people, they are working alongside with Anglo-Saxon ideology which is to steal the oil mineral of Congo. And we want those people to go because we want Africa to be united. And one of the things that we want African people to fight is to try to take out all those African presidents who are working tirelessly with this European mindset, to let them go. We don't have no space for people like Kagame or Museveni, who are there as people who have to do dirty hand for American people into a continent.
But are you sure that Museveni and Kagame are causing war in DRC? Can you explain more about it?
I cannot come with that, because if I have to tell you how they're causing that, we all know that. You know that, even if you're asking a question, you know.
Then you refrain from that statement.
Mr. Putin, you remember I switched that topic off because it can be very, very fire.
No, it's in the same topic. It is in the same topic, no, because you're talking about people.
You can only make reference to it by saying, first of all, Museveni doesn't support Russia, and then you have the Russian name Putin. Why are you condemning it?
No, those are just games of which is not supporting on Putin. It's just for his interest, because there's no way that person will ever support Russia. It's just for his interest. There's nothing about Museveni supporting Russia.
The topic of DRC Congo will come on Monday evening, where we shall now be ready to fight there, all of us, because the question of Congo, Congolese are very sensitive when you suggest what they should do with Congo. I suggested balkanization, this, the only way out. It created me very many problems. But I'm not
What?
worried. I will bring back the topic on
What?
Monday.
Can I what you say?
So today, let's stick on this topic.
No, repeat again, Dr.
Is
David.
there any country in the world that can arrest
Dr. Mazanga, I have a question.
for who?
No, I'm the one who's talking, man. Hold on, you asked your question later. I didn't understand what was
I have a
Dr.
question. I have a
Dr.
question to the
David
current
suggested.
speaker, to Putin.
Okay, give him the question.
My question is that
Putin,
is
mute your microphone and listen to the question.
All right, go on, my brother.
my question is, why does the ICC apply double standards? Because in the past we have seen US invade Afghanistan, Syria, Libya in a very similar fashion, in a very similar way, with the same formula that Russia has invaded Ukraine. So why is ICC applying double standards? Why didn't we see ICC issuing a warrant of arrest against Barack Obama, or against Hillary, or against Clinton, or against Bush? Why is ICC applying double standards in these issues? Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much for your question. Well, I can also ask the same question. Why is a double standing? Why the ICC never wishing warrant arrest against Paul Kagame, which has invaded the east side of the Congo? It's the same thing. It's the same thing because we have been having the same report of double standing. As like I said again, this
Putin,
thing.
where you are taking us, to market waters. Putin,
No.
Land your
I'm
point.
talking to you.
Land your
No, you're
point,
right.
please, on Russia.
That's right. I'm going to the point.
I give you 1 minute to land your points
All
on
right.
Russia, please.
All right. I'm running my point. The
Yes,
reason
land
why
your points. Is there any country in the world that can arrest Mr. Putin and put him in jail?
I'm answering.
Answer yes or no, and give us your reasons.
Can I answer first the question of the man who asked? Then I'm gonna continue that. All right. The reason why this criminal court is the International Criminal Court is there is just to follow people who are not in line with American or Anglo-Saxon ideology. Do you understand? If you're not in line with them, they will put you into trouble. They will do whatever it takes in order to silence you. But if you are in line and doing whatever they want you to do, like people like talking about Paul Kagame, Museveni, whatever criminal court those people have done into Congo, those people cannot be held accountable because they are in line with the Anglo-Saxon and American point of view. But if as an African, we can think of better Africa tomorrow, which can be in Africa, which can be tomorrow a powerhouse where there will be peace, we need to remove those people who are against Africans, who are killing Africans, who are destroying African ideology, who are destroying Africans tomorrow. And currently in Africa, the ICC is not doing a better job as always double stand, because we're talking about Bush supposed to be arrested. We're talking about the president of France, who's supposed to be arrested because of the bombs that how they destroyed Libya. We're talking about Iraq. Bush supposed to be arrested for what they've done in Iraq, but ICC has not done anything. And now we're talking today to someone like Paul Kagame, Museveni, who have killed more than 12 million people in Congo, but currently are not arrested, and there's no any warrant against those people. Which as African, we need to do whatever it takes to stop those people who are killing Africans and who are working alongside with Anglo-Saxons to kill Africans. So there's never be any president in any country in the world that can stop Russia, because you cannot stop or arrest any president who is in charge. You can only do that once who is being impeached or is out of power. That's the only time you can arrest the president. But regarding the double stand, they do that because you're in line with them. The time when Paul Kagame will be out of European or Western ways, you will see sanctions, you will see ways, you will see things against him. But because he's doing his will, Paul Kagame and Museveni, they're allowed to kill all 1,108 million of Congolese and nothing will happen against them. Thank you very much.
May I ask a question, please, to that man?
Go ahead.
Can I ask?
Yeah, ask him.
Okay, Mr. Vladimir, is there Kagame in Congo when there is a corruption, when there is no hospital, no schools, no road? Is that Kagame who put that there? Millions and millions of dollars are stolen every day by your authorities. Is there Kagame around? Since 60 years, nothing in Congo, no road, no school, nothing there. And you are talking nonsense here. Please, can you please explain how Kagame is there to count people there? Millions and millions of dollars are stolen every day. No road, no school, no salary, zero, nothing in Congo. Is there Kagame? Is your president there? Please, can you explain that? I'm sorry, my English is very bad, but I try to ask that.
No,
Please.
no, Mr. Taxi Driver, you have made your point.
Thank you so much for the question. I'm gonna ask you.
Yes.
I'm gonna answer your question quickly. You know, the most corrupted country in the world is the United States. Are you aware of that?
I ask you
The guy
about
is
Congo.
asking you about Rwanda. Please stop going around the bush. Answer the
So
question.
if you have to go in that way,
When there are
like
no roads
Dr.
in
David
Congo,
said,
when people in
Dr.
Congo,
David said,
no. I am moderating the debate. When
yeah,
people
like
in
Dr.
Congo
David
cannot
said, you don't
travel
want to
from
go
one place to the other, when there is corruption in Congo, is Kagame in Congo?
All right, thank you for the question. All right, for the
That's the
past
question he asked. Don't beat about the
okay,
bush.
I'm gonna answer that
Answer
question.
him. We
I'm
want
gonna
to
answer.
move on.
Yes.
We don't have time.
Okay, brother doctor. I'm gonna answer that question. There's no in the past 30 years since Kagame took power in Rwanda, he is influenced and he has put death to two Congolese presidents, which is Mobutu, Laurent Desire Kabila. He's got hands of also including the president of Rwanda and Burundi, just to control the politics of Congo. And we have reported that many politicians who have been nominated into the Congo have been allocated or has been allowed, or a letter have to come from Kigali. We know all these things and games that you guys play all the time here of his corruptions. We know. So Kagame is the politics of Congo. And when the Congo is one,
thank you very much. Thank you very much, brother. Thank you. I will bring you back later. I want to move on to the next speaker.
We will help those countries together with this type of presidents.
Yes, I will bring you back later to answer more questions. Is there a road between Bujimai and Kisangani? No. Is there a road between Ngoma and Kinshasa? No. You have to fly 3 hours, 10 hours. Is there a road? There are so many things that Congo makes us. That's why I wrote my heart. I don't care whether you can call me names. I have written my point, and I will be remembered in the history of Africa for having said the truth, that the only way that you can have Congo peaceful is to make sure that Congo is put into a confederation or balkanized. Yes, that's my suggestion. You can kill me if you want.
That cannot be organized as long as Kagame and Museveni.
We want to move to this topic. I didn't say Kagame should go and balkanize it. I didn't say Museveni should balkanize it. But the world should look at what is the best way to make peace in Congo. There are people in Congo who think Mobutu is still the president. Is that the problem of Kagame? Yes. There are people in Congo who think they have never gone out to Kinshasa. Is that the problem of Kagame? Is that the problem? No, honestly, let's be honest. This is a very rich country, but some mismanagement of governance has created a problem. Now, if you have enemies from outside coming, you have made your point put in very well. There's nobody who can arrest a sitting president. Nobody is going to arrest Mr. Putin. Which jail will you put Putin? Which one? These guys will bomb you. The Russians can't sit and say their president has been taken. You are joking. You demolished them in 1979. They came back. They rebuilt their kingdom. They are now powerful also. They are powerful. And there's nothing you can do to them. But my condemnation is ICC. The International Criminal Court is a dangerous organization. You can't issue warrants for publicity. I want to tell you under Article 13, and the people should quote me properly. Article 13B, Article 13C of the Roma Statute says the chief prosecutor, after gathering information, can move to the United Nations Security Council under Chapter 7, notify the United Nations Security Council that there is crime that has been committed by a non-state party member called India or Russia or China. I want to go and investigate. But the chief prosecutor didn't know. He just sat in his toilet in The Hague, in his toilet, that rubbish toilet in The Hague, and wrote documents, brought them down to the court. He wants to bring us a third world war. Are you with me? A third world war. Anybody who is mad in Russia could press a button on a nuclear weapon. All of us who live in Europe, especially me, at least for you in Africa, it might not reach there. And we are gone. Yet we want to live here longer. But those Russians can press, if you touch their president and hide them in a jail somewhere, they will come for you. You won't have peace. Go and read that article 13C, that you can seek authorization for a non-party member, non-state party member, and the UN can agree or not agree. You can't just walk and then indict one side that I am indicting you, you take the children. How did he count the children who were missing? What about the Russian children that are also abducted by Ukraine? Excuse me? I am not going to be fooled here. Let me bring the next speaker. And the next speaker was TK. Then Lukwago, Mwende, the taxi driver. TK, go ahead. Then Mwende. Then we go to Lukwago. Then we go to speaker. We pause there. Then we get another set of. Thank you very much for the contribution, Constitution. And thank you very much, Mr. Putin, yourself, for putting yourself at a crossfire. Because the Congolese thing, I told you to forget about it. It has caused a lot of trouble. We shall talk about it. I also defend these guys that you call Tutsi must be defended by somebody. Yes, you can't kill them because they are Tutsi. I'll defend them. And tell Congolese that I will defend them. So if you want, come and kill me. But I'll defend them. They are human beings. You can't cut them to pieces. You can't put fire on them. And we sit here to watch. You hate them. And why? Why? No. No. Okay, Mr. TK.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Matsanga. Thanks a lot. Good evening to your panel and listeners. No, good morning. Well, you see, I have been sitting here for so long, I can't even remember if it's morning or evening. A constitution, and I always say constitution's views are colonized. He's got a colonized mind. But I thought that he's a changed man after reading a few of his recent tweets. But what he said here today, man, it takes me back to how he is, fellow, and how I view him. Yeah. Look, Dr. Matsanga, I'll tell you one thing that I myself will be standing outside the airport on that particular day to welcome Vladimir Putin to South Africa. If it means that we must welcome him as citizens and we escort him to his event, after that we will escort him back to the airport. It's going to happen. He is welcomed here in South Africa. Russia was with us in Angola in the battle of Kwazulu-Natal when we were defeating the apartheid South African Defense Force of the day that was what you call fighting for the apartheid. Putin was there. The Russian USSR was there with our people. They didn't invade us here. So he is more than welcomed here, and no ICC is going to force us to arrest Putin, Dr. Matsanga. I'll assure you that Putin will be here. This is his home. The Russian Navy ships can come and dock in Simonstown anytime. And we'll deal with it, because one thing that is not being said here, you've got a clown of an ambassador here in South Africa to the US called Ruben Breeding, who comes and says that South Africa gave weapons to Russia. Is he trying to tell us that he is spying on South Africa? He's got spies that are looking at Simonstown there. Is he here to manage international relations, or is he here to spy on the country? Those are the things that we should be asking ourselves. And by now, he should be out of the country. I don't know why he's still here. America should have appointed another ambassador and sent him to SA, because we cannot be housing such people here. But on the issue of Russia, no, Putin is welcome there. We as citizens will defend him. We are very happy with what he's doing, because there is a Minsk agreement that was signed in 1990. That the what you call that was signed back in the day, that NATO will not expand eastwards, but NATO has been doing so since 1990, coming towards Romania, going to Hungary. That is expanding eastward. They were not supposed to expand even in that route, and Russia has been quiet about that. Now they're coming next door. I heard Constitution say that they were not justified to invade Ukraine. I want the Constitution to tell me that will he be able to sleep if his enemy comes and rents a house next door to him? Will you be able to sleep with your children inside your house, not knowing that your enemy is right next door here, and he can invade you while you are asleep? He can launch missiles on local, not even the international ballistic missiles. He can launch them on locals when he's here next door. Will you be able to sleep in that? And you know exactly that there's an agreement, the Minsk agreement, that was signed, and these guys are breaching it by coming closer to you. And the guy next door is allowing that to happen. You will obviously invade. And you need to understand that there are Russian, what you call citizens within Ukraine, people of Russian descent. Because Ukraine was never there. Ukraine was part of the USSR. It was Russia. It was never a country. It's only recent, I think, that it was signed off to become that. Now, the Nazis there, when they constantly attacking the people of Russian descent, do you think that Putin was supposed to sit down and do nothing about that? I am in support of Putin, Dr. Matsanga. Like I'm saying, I will be part of the South Africans that will be at the airport in welcoming him to defend if we have to. And there is no police that will arrest Putin, man. People must not a dream here. You see, a constitution was speaking about that South Africa light when Bashir was here for them not to arrest him. Let me see. No, he's not in this space. There's a guy who works for the military intelligence defense office under Navy. He normally comes here. If you would ask him, but of course he will not tell you in live space like that, but if you can ask him privately, he will tell you exactly what led to that thing of Bashir. You don't know that there was the embassy in Sudan was held hostage. Constitution doesn't know such things. That if anything had happened to Bashir while he was here, what was going to happen to those people? So let's not make a stupid decision based on emotions and being influenced by the US here. Bush and Tony Blair, Dr. Matsanga, admitted on open media that they were misled about Iraq. They were told that there are arms of mass destruction in Iraq. Upon finding out, they found out that there are no weapons of mass destructions. Hundreds and thousands of people have been killed due to that misleading information. Saddam Hussein had been killed and hanged due to that misleading information. ICC didn't issue a warrant of arrest to say, here are war lords and war criminals admitting on open media that they were misled and they went ahead to kill hundreds of thousands of people. And there's no warrant of arrest that has been issued against them. So why should we stand here now and say that we will arrest Putin because they say so? It's not going to happen, Dr. Matsanga. And Putin will come to South Africa here. And
I am
he will
joining
enjoy
you.
our...
Thank you very much. I am coming. And my brother, inbox your number. I will be there in August together. I will be staying in Sheraton Hotel. In my room has already been booked. I am coming. And I will see Putin go back home. We are not going to accept a sham ICC to molest every African. No way. No way. These people came to Uganda. They molested us. They came to Kenya. Kenya was going to go down if I did not stand up. It is me who stood up. They went to Congo. These Congolese are making noise. They don't know that Bemba, who is now looking for guns, instead of looking for peace, he's going to shop for guns to kill more people. He will be indicted again. When I went to the ICC, I found Bemba's lips were white. I went up to his, allowed to go to the cells. I told him I'm fighting this case outside here. I'm fighting it in international waters. You'll be free, my son. Okay? I went there. All these people making noise, they don't know. ICC is a very dangerous organization. My question is there any country in the world that can touch Mr. Putin? Which country? People have, maybe Mr. I am laughing by myself here as I take my coffee. Touch him, even Britain. Let me tell you, the man with a t-shirt showing us muscles as if we don't have muscles. Rubbish. Walking around the world in one t-shirt. What is it? We don't want to look at his biceps. We also have good muscles. He's running around. He was asking for Britain to give them nuclear sophisticated aircraft that can drop nuclear. And the British government said no. What we can't, we shall give you some little money, but we can't give you. You can fly this thing into Kremlin and a bomb and create a third world war. Why is Britain refusing to give this man arms? Why? That is my question. And therefore, I don't think the ICC has the warrant under Article 13C of the Roma Statute. Read it properly. You must gather evidence, go to the Security Council, then get authorization to go to a country that is not a member state. Russia is not a member state. That Karim Khan can go in his toilet in Kiev and sit in a hotel in Kiev and cook figures like the way they cooked figures in Kenya. Apana, no way, no way. And I'm glad Wandera is here. Wandera keep 14th to 15th of July open. You'll have a ticket coming your way to come to London, look for your visa to be at the launch of my books. I've given you an invitation for you to be there to see what I've struggled for. You are among the guests that I've invited. The rest of you, you are going to read everything here. Those who are able, who are in London, you will first come, first serve. So far, 600 guests are expected in that hotel. So I will give priority. I'm launching those 2 books that will tell you the historical analysis of this amorphous, obnoxious state, obnoxious organization. One of the books, my professors are seated there. They will sit there and know that they once, 10 years ago, they educated a brain that has come up and written. And I'm happy, Wandera, I've now told you, book your visa. You will be in London on 14th, 15th. You can extend it to 16th. I'll send you the ticket. I'll send you the accommodation. Everything is done. My launch of the book, 2 books, one on Zimbabwe and one on ICC. It is a very good read, and you will see what I have said. So thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Let's proceed. And with Mwende, then Lukwago. Quickly, don't waste much time on it. Mwende, Lukwago. Then Kunai. Kunai, if you are lucky, you might be one of the masters of ceremony. And that is at launch, since you are in London.
Thank you again, Mr. Dr. David Matanga. Like I said,
thank you very much, taxi driver.
Yeah, I'm a tattoo driver. So I'm not very clever like so many people here, but I can read and I know what happened in this world. So just this question that you make here, no one can arrest Russian president. No one, 100%. How can you arrest a president like Putin? So it's impossible. We have to know that this war between Russia and actually, it is not Russia against Ukraine. It is Russia against NATO. When we say NATO, that means it is USA. And we know how this war started. It's only because of USA and, of course, NATO. That means the whole European countries, all the one, and they want to destroy Russia, and then they can become more strong than they are. But hopefully, that is my hope, Russia will win this war against USA. It is not against Ukrainian. Ukrainian, they are brothers and sisters with Russia. But some people outside, they come and want to put them, against Russia. But hopefully, Russia will win this war against USA and NATO. And when this will happen, African will celebrate. Why? Because Russia, they have never colonized any country in Africa. Anyone. they have never killed anyone. I mean, they may, at least before, during the colonization. But we know France, Portugal, all of these countries, and of course now USA, they cheat African. I'm very, very sad to hear a doctor or another one who is a lawyer. Clever people. They don't understand what happened now. That's very. How can an intellectual man don't understand what happened? And becoming happy when they said they will arrest a Russian president. So my English is very not good because I'm Francophone. Actually, I'm Congolese
very
too.
much.
And I hope next time it will be a celebration when Russia will win this war. Thank you so much.
Asante sana mkubwa wa taxi kutoka nyumbani. Asante sana.
Karibu.
Asante. Thank you very much, Mr. Mwende. Mwene, you have done very well. You are my friend, Commander Mwende. Thank you very much. Asante. Let's move to Lukwago. Let's move with speed. Then on Africa. Thank you very much for coming. Today, your South Africa is on the spotlight. Let's see. Will you arrest Putin when he comes to South Africa? Lukwago.
Thank you so much, Dr. David Masanga. And I thank the taxi driver. Actually, he has nailed it very well. Russia is not fighting with the Ukraine. Russia is fighting with NATO on grounds that it considers NATO as an existential threat. It cannot allow. That takes us back to the 1962. Is it 62? You may correct me on the year. Missile crisis that nearly blasted the world into a third world war. Somebody posed the question, why US not a member of ICC? That was who? Or was it Vladimir? Yeah. For US not to be a member of ICC, it came up with a motion that suggested that it would not be a member and its citizens or leaders will never be tried by ICC. My president of Uganda was the second president to second that motion because he was in the same bed with the USA, who even took Kony to ICC. Yet Uganda has its own judicial system. Who's now to be held accountable for ICC? Whatever else is doing to African leaders. I also am someone who does not believe in ICC because of its inconsistency and dishonest. Okay? It at one time came up with warrants of arrest for Mr. Bashir. But how did they drop them? Okay? European Union, United States of America used the RSF. Okay? Bashir gave them RSF mercenaries to fight Colonel Muammar Gaddafi. And the European Union continued to enjoy the services of IMF, manya what? RSF. That militia group within Sudan, which is now challenging the what? The current government in Sudan. European Union used it to stop immigrants from accessing Europe. Okay. United States of America used it to capture Bashir and gave Bashir to Sudanese armed forces. You recall very well in that uprising where RSF crashed with Nice. Now, why are we fighting over ICC? Why we Africans not focusing on coming up with a bloc that can challenge both US and Russia? Why would someone die? I'm supporting Russia. I'm supporting Russia. I'm supporting US. Why are we not focusing? Why are we not focusing on coming up with a bargaining block to those power brokers. For how long will we continue being their servants? Okay. Now, these summons for Putin are like a travel ban. They are like a travel ban that Putin, you will not go to such and such a countries. Eh? That are in the same bed with the United States of America and its allies. What happened to Imran Khan of Palestine? Eh? When he went against the advice of US that Imran Khan don't visit Russia. Is Imran Khan still Prime Minister of Pakistan? I'm sorry, Pakistan. Is he? Never did he know that the army, the CDF, the Chief of Defense Forces of Pakistan, was it Pakistan? Hey, was in the same bed with the United States, eh? Whom they used to oust him out of power. Today is under house arrest. So, the fact is that no African country can arrest Putin. But the United States of America is putting up more pressure on African countries to go on their side. That's what we should understand. Yeah? South Africa has no capacity to arrest Putin. But I tell you this, South Africa, if it happens to host Putin, Mr. Ramaphosa will be no more. He will be no more in power in South Africa. He has not that capacity. Yeah? A country that still enjoys its apartheid traces, where Africans are segregated economically, can they live in some provinces within South Africa? A country that is still being held hostage by the white men? Let us see. We are here to live, and we shall come here to talk whether Putin will go to South Africa. So I would call upon Africans to wake up. Let us be like those previous Pan-Africans, eh? the boys, eh? Who left mere rhetoric to action. Eh? We would be actually talking of how to start coming up with conversion to be against European and Western imperialism in Africa. Eh? Think actually some of you, I don't know whether you saw that Italian Prime Minister, where she castigated Mr. Macron for causing whatever mayhem is going on the African continent. Eh? You recall very well. Doctor talked about DRC being poor. Eh? Its citizens being poor. Who's behind that? Macron, the French president. Eh? Niger, a country, has its own uranium. But many of its people have no electricity. But France is using Niger's uranium to blast up its nuclear reactors in France. But the people of Niger are not benefiting from their uranium. The same happening in Karamoja. You Ugandans here, you know very well how Karamoja are living as destitutes on the streets of Kampala. But they are blessed with a lot of minerals. Who's behind that? You find France, US is there, UK is there, in Karamoja. But the people from Karamoja are poor. That's what we should focus on. Okay? Let us wake up, Africans. Yeah? Let us wake up more so those who are blessed with a voice. Mind you, we are coming. We are not going to allow to cover up for those global powers that have proved to be a problem to African progress in as far as economic development is concerned. Thank you so much, Dr. David Masam.
Thank you very much. We are doing very well so far. And I can see we are moving in the right direction. Mr. Free Speaker, Maverick Aquarium. Thank you. Then Kunai. Then my sister, Africa, Delon Africa, who is my co-host, but today she was off. She's always my Monday co-host. Which I gave her an off so that she can relax her voice, wait for the Monday show in the evening, where we controlled it for 5 good hours, and it has generated, the world is watching our words. We're happy. Delon, thank you very much. Let me hear Free Speaker Aquarium. Thank you. I will take only Free Speaker Aquarium, Kunai, Delon.
Thank you, sir. Can you hear me?
Yes,
Can
we
the
hear you.
audience hear me? Just give me a reaction if anybody can hear me. Am I audible?
Yes.
Thank you. First of all, I just want to point something out. Yeah, it was a long wait indeed. A lot of rendition were made. I will answer outright, but I'll give the context later. There is no country that can arrest Putin today. Let us not fool ourselves. Let us disabuse ourselves from this notion of American, pro-ideologic, miasma, as I call it. There is no country that can arrest Putin. But I just want to give context to one thing. First of all, Constitution does not speak for the major section of for the majority of the larger population and sections of South African political orientation. I just want to put that clear. He speaks for himself. In 2017, South Africa went through color revolutions, which was led by the civil society. Plainly put, a combination of all of these NGO. And he seems to be well synchronized in that sort of thinking and orientation, and I need to call it out. So whatever that he's saying, is well pretty much battered and bred, from that sort of mindset of people that are dancing in the whims of the Western interests. What is happening regarding Putin and America, particularly what America is doing in South Africa? They are actually outsourcing a secondary offensive, a soft offensive, as I would like to call it, because they are failing an outright direct confrontation in Ukraine. So now they are bringing South Africa into the chaos. By bringing South Africa, meaning they are dragging us, that what they could not do when they went on a direct warfare, now South Africa must do it by arresting this guy, and which we want. And it's been made very, very clear that South Africa is not going to arrest Putin. And America knows that South Africa is not going to arrest Putin. But that is them engineering another chaos in this country, to which then they will call us, or rather use this whole arrest Putin campaign as the reason why South Africa must be outcasted in itself. So to put things clear is that for people that are saying Putin, first of all, when he was sanctioned in Russia last year, he actually, kept all of the planes for the Western countries that were grounded in Russia after they closed all of their economic taps and everything. And he said, it's fine, come get them, but bring your own airspaces to fly them, because mine is closed, much like you have sanctioned in myself in yours. And those planes are still there today. So why didn't they go and get them if they are so courageous that other country must arrest Putin? So we do know that it's impossible. Any military and safety and international human rights expert would tell you it is dangerous, not just for America, but for the whole world to tamper with Putin, because he is at this point fixed in proving a point that he is never going to listen to America. After they have given him an outlet through sanctions to not play along, basically there is no incentive for him to listen to America. He will fight to death. And he's not going to fight alone. He's going to fight with whoever the America is bringing
into. And there's no country wants to do that to itself. Secondly, there's another thing that most people forget is that Putin said in the Arabian League states when there was a World Cup that countries wanted to sanction them. He told them that Russia will play there in that World Cup. Otherwise, there won't be no World Cup to play to begin with. And Russia was there. So there's this very neoliberal mindset of chihuahuas that think they can opine on issues of international safety and human rights and think they can come and tell us about the Roman Statute and everything. The Roman Statute is the Roman Statute, much like other speakers have spoken here. What have that Roman Statute did to Tony Blair? It has done nothing. What has it done what has it done to George W. Bush? It has done nothing. It hasn't done anything to Obama. And the host, as you know, I like how you outlined the effect of George Soros, and I like the fact that as an academics, you know, are very naive in sense because they are all, you know, they are all informed by the mainstream academic pedagogy, as I would like to call it. So I very much veer the fact that you made a reference to that because most people really, there is no theory and there is no notes for people to make reference of the color revolutions and how they work at global level. So I was very much moved by that, and more so that you are an academic yourself. Secondly, you know, this whole issue of that you are Roman Statute, concerning that constitution, and I would likely believe that, you know, for him to have such audacity to opine on a large scale of issues at international and domestic level, he ought to have at least spent enough time educating himself, because there really is no point in debating the effects of history with people who don't have the effects of history. I can tell you for sure that very few people, including himself, have learned or studied about the Minsk Agreement, of which Angela Merkel is on record saying they lied about the agreements and the arrangements of the Minsk Agreement, which was meant to keep in check the Ukraine and the Russian separatist individuals that were living in Ukraine and protect them from the abuse of the Nazis and death, which were orchestrated by the state. Angela Merkel is on record saying they lied. They were just delaying that they should be able to advance their interest inside Ukraine to build up militarily and counter Russia. So also, you would want, at least when people want to come and spew nonsense and vitriol, to at least have done their basic, their requisite in understanding the actual thesis of the politics of the world, particularly there in that part of the world between Russia and Ukraine. Seemingly, this fellow here didn't, and he had the loudest voice here to tell us that South Africa is not binded. It was dragged because Ramaphosa, as the making of these people, reversed an already made decision for South Africa to ask for a secession or a formal withdrawal there in that union or there in that institution. And he did a reversal of that. Therefore, that is not the interest of South Africa. He did not represent or consult any of us. And just to round up, South African sentiment toward Putin is very clear. It's clear. Anybody who doesn't know that, you know, can definitely be themselves to be, they've got themselves to blame. South African political sentiment insofar as where do they stand with Russia and Putin is, or rather Russia versus America, or Putin and the ICC. It's very clear. We don't even have to spend that much debating this thing. Everybody has taken a position. And lastly, what I would really like to reiterate again, let us be careful of people that come in the spaces, especially those that of multinational, you know, panel speakers or political sentiments, and come and misrepresent the interest of South Africa, because at this point in time, South Africa is the focus. Russia is more like an X. We are the Y in the equation. What we do with what Russia will do, because the agreement of the BRICS is in motion, and I believe that Putin is actually going to use South Africa, which is what most people don't understand. He's going to use South Africa to once again send a statement to America that he is not fearful and he is not going to play along their game. They will do whatever. I have heard through, you know, very few sections of people that spoke to me, and this information was given to me with confidence, that when Ramaphosa of South Africa came into power, he was told that, listen, we know who you are and we know what you do, but there are agreements of the BRICS. And we know what you do, but there are agreements of the BRICS.
nations that existed prior to you as ascending into the presidential seat, that were signed with the preceding with your predecessor. But what you must understand is that those agreements stand, and there will be hell to pay if they don't stand. We don't want you to say or do anything except that know that they are already been agreed to, including this very event that is going to happen in August. And many sentiments can be drawn in the neutrality, or rather the lack of vocals of the current South African president in either condemning or taking a position, except that he keeps on referring everything to the party. So let us not kid ourselves, man. Putin is not a kid, and he's done his homework. Unlike most of the people that come here, they have not done their homework. And for those that don't understand, if America was so brazen as the Constitution said that Russia is just all about bravado, why did America agree to set buffer zone with Russia in Syria? That was back in 2013. I believe that he probably doesn't even know about that. And secondly, why did Biden had to get a ratification of geographic safety locations for America to not make any offensive where he could possibly be when he visited Russia? Because he knows, and that is a sign that should tell you that America may say everything in the mainstream, but they know what Putin will do, and he will do it. As such, they do appeal to his painstaking and consistent diplomatic insistence, because he's a very diplomatic leader. He adheres to diplomatic relations, and he acknowledges diplomatic sovereignty of other countries and their leaders. As such, Biden can be able to land in Ukraine. And thereafter, he also sent a communication that now he was gone. Therefore, they could do whatever they want to do. He was in there. So most people, have this very myopic understanding about Russia, and they come here and insult our intelligence and opine on things that they don't understand. Constitution should stop speaking, for South Africans. He must speak for himself. We do not abide and we do not endorse. No, certainly we will never really respect the Rome Statute. We will undermine it. Even if we have to outsource that essence of undermining it from Putin, we will undermine Rome Statute because it is not ours. It does not represent us. And therefore, he must not come here and speak as though he's speaking for South Africans. South Africans are really, really very, very well orientated. And we know our history for some of us. And seemingly he doesn't. And just as I'm about to land, again, there is never, there's very few, but there's very, very few NGOs in South Africa that speaks for the natives. The moment one is an NGO, usually it is indeed in the payroll of George Soros. And anybody can check that information anywhere when they want it. It's out there in the internet. He is the father of color revolutions, and he orchestrated one here in this country.
Thank you, Maverick. Thank you.
Through the civil organization that we were seen marching when Zuma must go. And we all know what happened thereafter. Thank you.
Thank you very much, comrade. This is it. I told you, you better know the history of Ukrainian conflict. For those who are on this platform, the Russians are not complaining for nothing. They want the money that Mr. George Soros stole from them. He took not simple money, billions and billions of dollars. There was no McDonald's. There was no King Burger in Russia. There was no Coca-Cola, no Fanta. All these companies that you see, KFC, it was Mr. George Soros who took them to Russia, to Moscow, and I told this oligarchy, the men who owned Russia, said, I'll do this for you, for the economy to become a capitalist state. After that, they gave him trust. He moved with billions of dollars into Ukraine, Kiev. The first strike, when the Russians struck first, their missiles went for all banks. All banks. For those people who don't know it today. At the beginning, the Russians wanted to cripple the banks. They hit on the banks, all of them that are owned by George Soros. That's why you see Macron had to go to China to beg so that China can talk to Mr. Putin for them not to point. Because most of the banks that are of George Soros, that gives people like a Mr. Constitution here money in South Africa. South Africa has got the largest number of NGOs on the streets of Pretoria, Johannesburg, and Cape Town. They are paid by George Soros. I was there when they wanted to arrest Mr. Bashir. I was in the conference. I'd been invited by the former President Zuma and so many friends of mine, Hadebe, and so many other people who are friends of mine. And I remember I'm one of those who campaigned for Amai Dlamini Zuma to be the chairperson of African Union. It was me. We had been together against sanctions against Zimbabwe. So we knew each other. I campaigned the whole Africa here, in the whole in the US, in Addis Ababa, until we got the slot. Let me tell you, the NGOs that you see in the streets of Johannesburg are funded by George Soros. That's why they are threatening Mr. Ramaphosa that if Mr. Putin comes here, we arrest him. Where is Mr. Ramaphosa going to put Mr. Putin? Which jail? Which jail? The Russians will come with all machinery and the fleet. They will block everything of South Africa. He will cause a big world war on a mistake that has been done very badly. The chief prosecutor erred. He did not use Article 13C. I want all of you to go back and read the Roma Statute, Google Roma Statute, Article 113, Article 13C. It says you refer the case to the Security Council for a non-state party member like China, India, and Russia. There is nowhere a resolution that came from the United Nations Security Council that authorized Mr. Chief Prosecutor to go to Russia to issue warrants of arrest. No, this was political motivation, politicized the case, and the case will become a political case rather than a legal case in the ICC. Doing very well so far. Kunai, and welcome co-host Delon. Welcome. Let's hear Delon's voice, then Kunai will be very happy. Delon.
Well, I was going to say, Dr. David, in the Horn of Africa, where I am from, we have a tradition where the ladies, if there is a lady in the panel that she's waiting to speak, we always give her the mic first. Then the lads can come in. So
okay.
I would like to have Delon first before I speak. Thank you.
Delon, Africa. You have been given a very, very nice mic by Mr. Kunai.
Good afternoon and good morning to some of you. Good morning, Dr. David Matanga. Good morning, Kunai. It's so great seeing you. It's always great seeing you guys. And to some of you all that are on the platform that I'm familiar with, it's always good seeing all of you guys. A few familiar faces. Lukwago, it's good seeing you. I see you. I just haven't heard you speak yet. I was trying to avoid this topic as much as possible because we all know that South Africa is trying to be, or America's trying to use South Africa to get what they've always wanted. And that's the thing about America. They will never face their own battles. They're like children or like bullies, basically. So what a bully does is a bully hides behind their friends while they basically let the ones in front of them go and do the bad or the dirty work so that they can take the fall. And that's exactly what they want to happen to South Africa. So, I mean, who there was a speaker that couldn't have said it better. I think it's the Maverick Aquarian. I'm not too sure if you're from South Africa, but you have stated all the facts so beautifully. So thank you for that. I'm not going to add on to that because I agree with you 100%. So yes, and Kunai, thank you so much for allowing me to greet all of you guys. You may go ahead. Thank you.
Thank you, Dillon, and my sister, my Pan-African sister, Dillon, and Africa, Honorable Dr. David Masanga, who's chairing this panel tonight. Oh, sorry, this morning, should I say, because this morning still here and in London, and some of you might be off in the afternoon or evening. And I'd like to greet the distinguished guests, some friends that I see here, like Lukwago, my brother Sebian, Mr. Wandera, His Excellence Wandera is downstairs listening. And I think the last point Dr. David mentioned was very touching. And what could be the consequences if South Africa or Ramaphosa arrests Putin? Yes, and Dr. David, there will be negative side effects or consequences that South Africa might face. Not only South Africa, whether India or any other country that arrests or detains Russian President Vladimir Putin, obviously there will be consequences in taking such action, and we should not condemn, we should not criticize, and we should not shame any African country that refrains from detaining Vladimir Putin. Because the reason I say that is a lot of European countries are still trading with with Russia. Russian gas is still being consumed. If I'm not wrong, Dr. David, Germany has not cut off the pipeline yet. And Germany is still consuming Russian gas. Why are they doing so? Why is Turkey having a relationship with Russia? Why is India having a relationship with Russia? Why they have not severed the relationship or diplomatic relationship? And many countries have still got very good diplomatic and relationship with Russia. So what makes African countries different? What makes us Africans different? Africans, we have our own problems, and the problem of Ukraine is not one that's ours. And Africa, we have issues or problems that we need to focus on, such as in Congo, such as in Somalia, such as in Sudan, such as in many places in Africa, and Burkina Faso, Mali, and Nigeria. Recently, the political tension in Nigeria, and so many other things that the African Union or Pan-Africans need to focus on. But the one of Ukraine is not one that concerns us, and it concerns the people who decided to put NATO in the mouth or in base NATO and located so very close to Russia. And obviously there will be consequences, because Russia is not is one of the superpowers in the world, and bringing a hostile organization right close to Russia, and this is what caused the instability in Ukraine. It's bad decision, and NATO should not be expanding towards the east in the Russian borders, but it should be expanding further west or wherever. And so what I wanted to say, Dr. David, is that I was very happy to hear Brother TK, who mentioned a lot here, and Three Maverick Voice, is it? And he made a very excellent points. And you yourself, and Africa cannot have a hostile relation with Russia at the moment, and we have other issues to concentrate on. And it's not our fight. The relationship that Africa had with Russia has not changed. It keeps on going the same, because other countries are still having the relationship. So what makes us any different now? And that's my point I wanted to make. And it's good to hear from TK that during the apartheid era, and Russia did come to the aid of South Africa. That was a very interesting history that I've learned and picked up from here today. While all other countries were watching the apartheid era and what they were doing to us Africans, only Russia came to our aid. Maybe that is a note to take on Dr. David as well. Why wasn't the apartheid leaders at that time and scrutinized and detained, brought to the ICC and by the British, by the Americans and whoever else that is now saying arrest Vladimir Putin? Why did they not and what's called and be very, you know, and critical of what was happening in South Africa at that time when Africans were being massacred and no one spoke up, but Russia came to the aid of South Africa. So this time the fight in Ukraine and Russia is not our fight, and I say, and other countries are having relationship and Africa is not any different, and African nations need to look for what is good for them, what is the interest of their what's called aspirations, and what is the economical interest. And if it's Russia, then so be it, because many other countries, Germany is still consuming Russian gas. So South Africa should not need to be criticized. Simple as that. Thank you, Dr. David. Have a good day to all of you, and have a good Friday. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Now we shall go quickly. Don't make too many. We want to have 1.5 minutes or 2 minutes maximum, where we shall begin from down here. We will win. Brian, Eben, with this Mr. Fish, and Sadiq. That's it, and we close it down. Ladies and gentlemen, 2 minutes each. I need to get out and start on a data flight to another city this afternoon around the United Kingdom. Thank you very much. Let's have we will win. Brian, Eben, Fish, Sadiq. Then I come back to the Lukwagos and other people who are still here, who can make the points they missed out at the beginning. That's very good, Mr. Kunai. Mark you, the Roma Statute is clear. A non-member state, you must seek permission from the United Nations Security Council. Whether there are 2 members or 3 members of the Security Council, it still remains the same. Did Mr. Khan seek permission from the Security Council? No, he can't fake the letter today because he never wrote any letter to the Security Council seeking permission. They must sit and resolve whether they want to investigate or not, because Russia is a non-member of the International Criminal Court. Sudan is a non-member. For Mr. Bashir to be indicted, a letter was written to the Security Council. A resolution was passed for Mr. Bashir, for Mr. Ocampo to go into Sudan and look for Mr. Bashir. You can't just walk into the country which never signed. Above all, don't allow any other more, please, speakers, because we are closing down. We are closing down in the next 16 minutes, 16 to 20 minutes. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Sarkozy of France should be the first person to be indicted, because Sarkozy ordered for the killing of Muammar Gaddafi, destruction of Libya, and then he took Muammar Gaddafi's money and he used that money to go and do campaign in France. The French law got him, sentenced him, he's going to jail. So, see, brought this guy on trial for having ordered for dismembering of Libya. Why are African heads of state in South Africa more concerned about Ukraine. They want to go there in a delegation. They are not concerned about Libya that gave Mandela arms. Let's have Mr. We Will Win. Take the mic.
A good Friday to all of you Africans. I greet you
Speak
all.
louder, louder. Come near the microphone.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Hello?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Yes. Yes, I greet you all Africans on this Friday. Someone sent me a DM to you, host. They were asking that you open the comment section, but I did hear you say you'll be wrapping up in 16. I think people wanted to comment, so I was told that I must just make you aware of that. Thank you. Just a few things to share. Thank you, Maverick, for coming and clarifying to everyone here that Constitution does not speak for South Africans. He is what we can describe as a political delinquent. You know, I don't reserve anything when it comes to Constitution because he's a disruptor.
He's a neoliberal chihuahua. That's what it is.
That's why he's here to distract. He's here to push an agenda, to put it mildly. There is no way that this man speaks for any one of us. And we are saying this because we have engaged with him countless times. There's no ways that you can always find yourself always diametrically opposed to one person. And unfortunately, Constitution is that person. I don't think I don't want to be harsh, I don't want to be harsh about him, but basically the least said about him and the sooner we can forget him, because we are not here for delinquent politics. We are here for discussion. This is Imbizo, and you are right with every sentiment that you've shared. First of all, why should we as Africans involve ourselves in this war between Ukraine and Russia? We don't get involved in such. First of all, the politics are there for all to see. We suffer from people who consume daily Maverick news, ENN. They do not consume quality information about anything, let alone their own country, the world. They just have a veil that's been pulled over their faces. What they suffer from, I don't know what it is, but it's very much in your face about what's happening. This man must come. The BRICS thing has been set up. Let it go on as it should. We should not be getting instructions from a country who are in collapse, because that's what other people don't understand. Are these things? Why is Russia worried? I mean, why is the United States worried about them coming here? It's because everybody's trying to secure something. The world is at there's a platonic shake. The power is moving. Where that's going to go, I mean, the West has collapsed, right? The West has collapsed. This Ukraine war was supposed to be a proxy for them to maybe give them a chance to maybe save themselves. Because if you look what's happening, all the tactics they've used against other leaders in the past have had no effect on this one country. Because what we are seeing now, we are seeing how powerless the US is when it comes to someone who can stand up to them, right? They could sanction all the other ones we can name, the Gaddafis, the Bin Ladens, the whatever. I mean, they crippled Zimbabwe right next door with the sanctions. But what have sanctions done to Russia? It seems to have strengthened their position. Russia seems to be going on as business as usual. The BRICS meeting, in fact, what they are doing is they're shooting themselves in the foot. The petrodollar is collapsing, and they are just grabbing straws. This guy who is an ambassador, I don't even want to know what his name is, like TK said, that guy should have been sent packing the next day. You know, it's mind-boggling. But what I'll say to you, leader, is that it's very much a picture of South Africa. South Africa is a banana republic. It's a shit show. It's crazy what's happening here. It's crazy. And when you hear people like Constitution, you see, but okay, maybe this is what allows this buffoonery. You know, Malema came out a couple of days ago and warned us that we are at the brink of collapse energy-wise. Everybody attacked him. Everybody attacked him. They called him all sorts of names, only for the ministers 2 days later to tell us exactly what he was saying, that actually you should actually prepare for stage 8 or stage 10 load sheddings, right? It's a clear reflection of we are nose diving unless we take a serious U-turn. You know, I don't want to say much. It's a Friday, but yeah, we should not get involved in this. No country in the world can arrest the Russian president, because this the ICC, like we've been discussing, it's a very biased. How do you set up a panel and then in the next breath say, actually, I am not a member of it, but I will be able to enforce? I mean, the United States have came out literally with their mouths, with their leaders, to say we are not bound by the ICC, whatever agreements that are there, but we will use them to do what we've been doing, you know, in the past. History is there, guys. History is there. Without saying much, fuck the USA. You know, I'm sorry to use fruity language. It's time for Rome to fall. You know, and yeah, Aluta, continue, please.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And this that is the Pan-African we are looking for. A frank discussion. This is why Twitter and Facebook were brought, for people, those who cannot speak in their countries, those who cannot be able to criticize those guys, can be able to use this platform constructively to put out ideas. Nobody should stop us, and nobody should come and gang on us, on you, when you have said something, a suggestion. For example, my brothers didn't know that the root cause of the Ukrainian war is George Soros. Is the same George Soros who pays Mr. Constitution in South Africa. Yes, the Open Society Foundation is in South Africa. It is South Africa has the huge investment of George Soros on the continent of Africa. Second by Kenya. In Kenya, all NGOs that created ICC and created all these problems that Ruto and Uhuru Kenyatta went through until I came in to help those two younger men, because I'm older than them. They have become presidents, but I'm older than them. I had to fight. The French wanted me to be killed. It's not a lie. So I'm not going to be threatened here by some Congolese who have grabbed themselves into a group. What can you do, you? You can't. I stood by the ICC and broke it down. I won there is no African who has not received my advice. Bemba, I went to the ICC when Bemba's lips were white. He had even paid the witness to go, the lawyer, and I warned the lawyer that you'll be arrested for Article 70. Let's just fight politically, but don't indict, don't bribe witnesses. Babugo has invited me to Ivory Coast. Next month, I will be in Abidjan at his farm just to eat food with him, because I struggled for Babgo. Said Gaddafi, they wanted to kill him. I struggled through the British government and I told the British government, begged them, you can't kill the whole family. You have killed the father. Now you want to kill the only man who came to study in the London School of Economics. A man who could lead Libya in the future. Said Gaddafi is alive. Thomas Lubanga, Bosco Ndagana, all these people. Not everybody has got a writing I have written against ICC. Bashir, I stood firm on the ICC issue. And the people said, oh, I forged the papers to falsified. I asked them, if I have falsified documents, why don't you arrest me? And charge me for falsifying documents. Why do you resign, all of you? Because I brought something. Even if you remove this topic, this motion from the court, I have the hard disks of the bank accounts where a Jewish company paid Mr. Ocampo to indict Mr. Bashir. And I was given this by the same Americans. Yes, I said, let's go to court. I will produce the hard disks. You know, you can destroy the documents, but not the hard disks of the bank. Ladies and gentlemen, I've struggled. In Uganda, Lukwago will know. I stood. You indict 5 commanders of the rebel army, but you don't indict the commanders on the government side. What? That's a mistake they made. You mean the commanders on the government side were using water to shoot? No, both sides were killing. Take both of them. In Kenya, they came for 6 people. They wanted to take Uhuru Kenyatta away. They wanted to take Mr. Ruto, William Ruto, away so that Ruto does not become the president and Uhuru Kenyatta does not become the president. Gentlemen, am I not laughing now in glory? Both of them, I stood firm. Ask any Kenyan, ask Wandera, ask any Kenyan. You can't mention ICC without mentioning Dr. Matsanga. I struggled, and that is my struggle. So this one, the Russians, wherever they are, the Russians, I am ready for your services. I will file one application. It will shake the world. Article 13C is the only application we use now. Did the Mr. Prosecutor get permission from the Security Council to indict Mr. Putin? Yes or no? The answer is no. He failed. Therefore, the case collapses. The warrants withdrawn. Go back again to the drawing table. That's it. And we are not going to joke. There is nowhere where you can say you arrest Putin. Which jail will you put him in? Which one? Underground, maybe 200 meters underground. Even that, the Russians will look for him and get you. That country will be smashed in minutes. So let's not do things by NGO syndrome. Thank you, Mr. Brian Eban.
Dr.
Brian,
David,
take the platform.
thank you. I hope you can hear me clearly.
We hear you.
I think I'll be short and brief. I think on the matter of Ukraine, the way you've just said, arresting Putin would be something really difficult because arresting him would come with a lot of consequences from Russia, which I don't think any country in Africa is currently ready to face a military consequence from Russia of any sort. And also, I think a peaceful resolution in Ukraine will be something that they should desire. Because, and I don't think the West will accept that decision, would be ready to accept it. and Russia would not be willing to lose either. Because if Ukraine, I think it will be a loss for Ukraine on either side. Because if they win, they'll be in debt from the money that they're getting for weapons, supplies, and everything. That is a lot of money that they'll be in debt in. So it's still a loss for them. And if Russia wins, that means their sovereignty will be in jeopardy. So I think for them, I don't know what they're gonna do, but for me, there are usually a few things that I usually wish for in Africa. I usually say that I pray one day down our generation, Africa will be able to have a deterrence force big enough like Russia, that no country can just come sanction a lot of countries in Africa without thinking twice. Because they can't do the same for the major powers, the major economies in the world. They have to think twice. They have to sit down and be like, is this really what we want to do? Because they know if the country is big enough, there'll be repercussions. But when they look at Africa, they look at other countries, like the way they have sanctioned Zimbabwe, they're like, nothing will happen to us. Let's go ahead and do it. And it's our people, it's the Africans suffering because of this. And that is just maybe a disagreement that the presidents of Africa don't have with them. Something we don't agree with them, they're like, we're gonna sanction you because you didn't do that. I usually wish that Africa is gonna be that big. Economically, we can do that because we provide a lot of raw materials for the world. That means in terms of economy, we can do that. But I hope that one day we'll have a big deterrence force. And one thing that I can say for every big country that have come up over time, what made Britain great is because they had a big military during their time. What made France great during the 17th century? They had a big military. What made Napoleon great? The military grew the economy. I hope that Africa one day will be that powerful that they will consider us as equals, but not second to them. I think that is my statement for today.
Thank you very much, sir, from Nairobi, Kenya. And I think it would be very big honor for me to ask you to tell people the role I played in the ICC briefly, what I did in 2008, 9, 10, 11, 12, 15. I was the only voice on television standing for the current people, the former president and the current president, until I dismantled the ICC. It would look nice if it came from you, a Kenyan. Brian?
I would say it's a great honor to thank you for that, because I think the ICC were really wrong on that, because we can see over the years after their decision to arrest the 6 of them, 2 out of the 6 of them have become the presidents. Uhuru later became the president, Ruto is now the president, and the rest of them were like, they were all found not guilty. And I think that is among the things that ICC went just way wrong. And I like to thank you for that, because were it not for you, I think we wouldn't have such great leaders. Because
thank you very much.
Let us imagine if Uhuru was arrested. Look at the impact Uhuru has caused. The negotiation of the conflicts in Africa that he has been able to attend. And let us look at Ruto, like right now, he looks like a prospect. Let's see how far he'll go. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, we are moving in the right direction. Thank you very much, Brian. And tag me, I tag you all the time. Gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, tag each other so that you attend all these platforms, especially the Monday one, which is hot, always the hottest one at night, 9:15. And this time it is going to be very hot, because the topic that is coming will make people break windows. So thank you very much. Brian, thank you. Eban, also be brief like Brian.
No problem. Good day. South Africa, I'm just going to go straight to it. Putin, it's a given. TK has said it well. Maverick well, we would win also. If it takes for us civilians or and to go and meet with Putin, take him to wherever venue that he needs to go, we will definitely do that and take him back to the airport so that it takes off back to Russia safely. We are not gonna stay here and listen to these ones that tracks for the West like your constitution. They come here speaking nonsense on behalf of South Africans. We are not gonna listen to such nonsense. Putin is more than welcome in our country. He's a friend to this country. It is his second home. So therefore, we will not do anything to that man. In fact, he has led the world into revolting against the USA and their system that they have been using into colonizing countries, putting them in corners whereby they will continue to mess the countries up if they don't conform to whatever that they want. Today, the countries will be free. They won't be scared of sanctions from the West, because when they come with those sanctions, you will have an alternative of trading internationally through BRICS. So therefore, we must thank Putin and the Chinese for creating that platform for Africa to be able to do business outside the dollar. So that is my contribution to this. So South Africa is not arresting Putin. In fact, Putin is a friend and he's more than welcome in this country. Thank you.
Co-host, where are you? Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Are you there?
I'm here, Dr. David. I'm here.
Okay, fine. So well, so far. Now we have Mr. Fish, Sadiq, and Mugandi. Mr. Mugandi. And then, if there is anybody else, Mr. Samson, you came too late. Lukwago has finished all our representatives as Ugandans on the platform. Mr. Fish. Thank you.
Hello, Dr. Matasinga. Thank you so much, and thank you to your co-host also.
Thank you, brother.
I wanted to say, this is a very interesting situation. Why, Dr. Matasinga? Because first of all, they are sending weapons to Ukraine, but they are scared to fight the Russians on their own land in America. Why don't they send U.S. soldiers to go fight Putin in Ukraine? You're already sending weapons. You're already sending tanks. Now they want to send jets to Ukraine, F-16, American F-16 fighter jets. So you're already sending weapons, tanks, and you're going to send jets to Ukraine. But now you want the South African people to arrest Putin. Why do they want the South African people to arrest Putin? I'll tell you why. Because Putin said that any country, the Russians, they don't care which flag is behind it. Because this is what I'm scared about, that if anybody touches Putin, there's gonna, what Russians said, we're gonna send a rocket towards their direction. This is guarantee promise to anybody who tries to touch Mr. Putin. They're going to send a rocket towards their direction. There's going to be no judge. There's going to be no courtroom. In fact, Russia even said, we're going to make the courtroom disappear. So anybody who even thinks about bringing Putin to a courtroom, there's going to be no courtroom. It's going to disappear, So what do they want to do? They want South African people to arrest Mr. Putin so they could be in a direct war between Russia. But they sit back in America and they teach to you and they try to preach to you about freedom and democracy. while they're sending weapons to another country and they're scared to fight the Russians. You know what that's called? That's called instigating. When you see two countries fighting between each other and you decide to throw rocks at that other person while he's fighting another person, you're throwing rocks at him. Guys, do not be surprised if rock is going to fly towards their direction, not towards your guys' direction, but towards their direction. But they know that this is a way to bring Russia out of their position. Because if they arrest Mr. Putin, now we're going to be forced to react. I'm sorry, guys. I love the South African people. I love it. But this is the thing. If anybody touches the president of Russian Federation, most powerful nuclear country in the entire world, this is a problem. This is a problem. You know, so they are trying to bring their problems, their issues, into other countries and have them solve it for them. For example, US is not even, I heard it's not even it's not even a member or something of the ICC. You know, and so they are trying to have another country do the work for them. You know, this is how they always work. Example, Britain. Some guy named King Charles has a diamond crown stolen with South African diamonds. And here he's trying to preach to you about freedom and democracy. If I was the president of South Africa, I would say anybody who's American, anybody who's born in United Kingdom, we're going to deport you back tomorrow unless you send our diamonds back. They want to talk to you about freedom and democracy, but they robbed your people of diamonds. They stripped your people alive. You know, some people in South Africa, I heard in this space, they said we don't even have electricity. So this is their freedom and democracy, that South Africa doesn't have freedom and they don't have basic electricity, but they want you to arrest Mr. Putin. Come on, this is number one jokers. This I would take that statement as a statement of disrespect now. Anybody who says to a South African person, I want you to arrest Mr. Putin, I would tell them this. I want you to fight the Russians in America. That's what I want you. Why are you running scared? Why do you want the South African people to fight your own battles? This is a problem. This is number one problem from these American transgender jokers. Number one problem.
Thank you. And I hope you delivered my message to Moscow. Hello, Mr. Fish. Mr. Fish, to deliver my message. Did you deliver my message?
Dr. David Matanga, I think, is indicating that he has done that.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, the ICC treaty is very clear. Article 13C says, seek permission from the United Nations Security Council before you go to indict a non-member state. That's where we are. The warrants are not, they are fake warrants, and that's it. That's what we have done, and that is what we continue to say, and I will not be shy to say it all the time. Thank you. Sadiq.
Hello.
Sadiq.
Hello, good morning, Doctor.
Brother,
Good
how is
afternoon.
Abuja? How is
How are we-
Abuja?
Oh, I am actually doing great, Doctor. How have you been, sir?
Abuja. How is Nigeria?
We thank God. Can you hear me?
We are hearing you 100%.
Okay, thank you very much. Doctor, it's been a while because I've been away from Twitter due to some school activities, but I am back. So thank you very much. And the topic of discussion is very interesting because when you look at the influence of of Russia on other countries, especially Africa, that now the Russian, Federation are trying to build their root in Africa, extending their friendship hands to some of this country. And they are doing that not just because they are expecting to, take away our mineral resources or something like that. Unlike America, that we usually have seen a time without number, they will come and create and, and fuel the war and create something in order to steal something away from Africans. So it is unlike that with Russia. When they extend their friendship hands to you, definitely they means to be friends with you. So you see, the difference is clear that, okay, this is the war between someone who want to see your progress, and this is a particular someone that just want to see your downfall. He always want to see you, going, for him, seeking for humanitarian assistance, while the other way around, the likes of the BRICS countries that involves China, Russia, and BRICS are extending their friendship hands to Africa in order to enhance and to increase the development of our continent and the progress of our international trade, businesses and all that. So you see, for any country to think of arresting the Russian Federation president, that country must be insane, because even the Americans themselves cannot dare to arrest Mr. Putin. Like, it is something that is very impossible, because we are talking about the most powerful nuclear country in the world. So there is no way. That's why you see, even the war that has been going on for a while in Ukraine, there is yet an intervention from either NATO or American, a direct intervention either from NATO or American, because they knew exactly the consequences, the consequences that may come after their intervention. So that's why they are taking it very, exclusively to deal with the issue amicably in order not to escalate the nuclear war, especially in European countries that are more closer to Russia than America, because the consequences that may fall on European countries will be much higher, and greater than that of America. So you see, for IC, International Criminal Court, to think of, issuing an arrest warrant on, on Russian President Vladimir Putin, I think that is a joke of 21st century that I have ever heard of recent, because it is something that is very impossible and unlikely to happen. Thank you very much, Dr. Masanga.
Thank you very much. That's very good. We are moving the last speaker, Mr. Mugandi, and then Lukwago, prepare for your departure notes. And then among us to you, Brian, not Brian, among us, we will win. Anybody who can come up, Lukwago, prepare your parting notes. Mr. Constitution has come, is hidden down here. Mr. Constitution, I didn't know you are an NGO in South Africa. Your friends have been here telling me something I didn't know. I thought you are my friend. Kumbe, you are an NGO working for Mr. George Soros. Oh, Jesus Christ. Whoa. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Wamugandi.
Mr. Mazanga, Dr. Mazanga, my neighbor from Busia. James Mugeni, James William Mugeni. That's my Twitter name up there. Mazanga, I'm just going to ask a question, because you and me, I think Russia gave us Bustemark, College of Agriculture then. And Bustemark College has become a university, a collapsing university, That's what Russia left us with. And I'm going to ask a simple question. Why is Putin coming to South Africa? Mr. Mazanga, I moved to the US recently. I'm from Busia, a village man from Busia. But these guys are taking us for granted. Russia cooperates with the US on space programs. China I am in the hospital, I work in the hospital, but literally this whole hospital is supplies come from China. All the drugs we use in this hospital come from India. Where this guy is just making Africa a laughing stock because Africa has nothing apart from labor. We are casual laborers. We are slaves in the United States. Oh, everywhere we go. So I'm still asking you, what shall we benefit from the visit of Putin to South Africa? Our minister, Jejo Dongo, is in Russia negotiating for guns. How many guns do we need to kill 42 million Ugandans? Because the guns we buy from all these guys is just to kill ourselves. So what benefit? To me, I think Russia should not even, South Africans should just say no to him. We don't need them. We need Africa. That's my small contribution. Thank you.
What? Okay. You even know how to pronounce my name so well. Some people don't know how to pronounce the name. You seem to be my relative, but you are saying you are from Busia. Busia people don't speak that way. You are my relative. You know the name very well, Mazanga, Mr. Mazanga. Thank you very much. Asante sana, my brother Mugandi, Mugeni. Are you asking, should we allow Putin, yes or no? You are saying no. Okay, you are the only one on the platform under Mr. Constitutional Affairs who has hidden away. He has had his South Africans looking for him. He has hidden, he has run away. So, oh, Jesus Christ. This is very interesting, ladies and gentlemen. We have now come to the end of our good discussion. 95% of you said Putin must come. He must come to South Africa. You like it or not, let him come. Let him come. And some of us, by the way, I want to tell South Africans, especially Mr. Aquarium and Delon, in August, I will be there. I'm your guest. I want to be at that summit. Luckily enough, nobody stops me in the summit. Everybody in South Africa likes especially those in the leadership, in the ANC. All of them, they know me. I've been with them for a long time, years and years. So I will be among those people welcoming Mr. Putin. We escort him. He finishes the meeting. We again put him in a plane. If they want to hijack his plane on the way, let them try and find a war somewhere, but not us. For us, Mr. Constitution, we agree that Putin has a right. This ICC indictment is just a political threat created by America, which is a non-member state of the ICC, to threaten and cause mayhem around the world. Lukwago, sum it for us before I hand it over to Delon to finish, and we play our national anthem. We go home.
Thank you so much, Doctor. Thank you so much. Actually, the unipolar system United States of America leads came up with the ICC, which ICC, it uses it as a political hunting tool to whoever threatens its hegemony. Okay? To maintain that unipolar system, Dr. United States also came up with IMF, World Bank, and the dollar as the reserve currency. Treaty organization that is ready, deal to fight with whoever threatens the United States hegemony over other countries. That's why we see that ever since Russia invaded Ukraine, NATO has increased a number of its soldiers in those European countries that I will not mention as of now. Doctor, after the collapse of Soviet Union, US came up with a new ideology. It would use to dominate, influence, and control the global world. It is so disheartening that many African aid their tool to consolidate themselves in power. A long-serving dictator who expressed his willingness to fight terrorism automatically became an ally of United States of America. For instance, our Ugandan president, upon US invasion of Afghanistan, he wrote a letter in New Vision expressing his support to United States of America and vowed of how US was to win. He too supported the US invasion of Iraq since he had gone into a deal with the United States to provide it with mercenary guards to US in Iraq. Many Ugandan returnees came up, Iraq returnees. They came with a lot of money from Iraq. From out of that deal, Mr. Museveni went into with the United States of America. So it's upon African leaders to stop being accomplices in hegemonic powers strategies to lead this world. Thank you so much, Dr. David Masanga.
Thank you very much. Paul, I can see Paul. Do you want to speak, Paul? My friend Paul, you are on the platform. Can I give you the mic before I close down? Because you have just come now. Anita, today, are you able to speak? We haven't had a voice of a lady today. Before, anybody who wants to speak, Paul?
Dr. Mazanga, let me just say something small. I requested you to invite Lukwago. You know, Dr. Mazanga, we need to mentor some people from Uganda. Lukwago speaks so well on all platforms, and I heard you give Wandera a ticket. Why don't you engage Lukwago for us? We need leaders in Uganda. Thank you.
Lukwago is already invited. Lukwago invited. I don't know his status. You know, we shall see. Lukwago, your letter is coming, but you know why I wanted Wandera is the Voice of America, and then publicity to what he will link up the line while we. And Lukwago is invited. Lukwago's card is coming. Lukwago will carry 2 books. Even if Lukwago can wait, if he can't come to UK, he will come to Nairobi or Dar es Salaam or Zimbabwe, where I'm going to launch the second phase. Because these 2 books, one ICC, one on Zimbabwe. I will launch the Zimbabwe one the second time in Africa, in Harare. These books are ready. We have so far 10,000 copies that have been taken over by Oxford Printing Press. I am very happy, humbled. I painfully jotted down all the memories of the things that we have gone through, what happened, what has taken place since 1998 in Zimbabwe, when I stood up in Brighton Labour Party and told the world, told Tony Blair, who is running around the continent looking for contracts. So I want Tony Blair to read my book and remember what he said about Mugabe and what he did against Zimbabwe. Then let's see whether you know, the road towards heaven narrows every day. And the more you become sincere, the more it becomes wider. If you are sincere, it narrows. So for me, I've narrated my stories in those 2 books. The third book will come later on in December or January 2024 towards the destiny of African Union. And that one I'll launch it in together when I and the Deputy Foreign Minister of Algeria go for the candidature of African Union to become the chairperson. We have worked out our candidature. Let the African votes, let people count. Even if I get 10 votes or 5 votes out of Africa for this post, I will be very happy. I will come back and tell people I tried to change Africa from this mess. We have made resolutions in African Union for all African countries to quit ICC. They don't want. South Africa goes in, South Africa comes out. South Africa goes in, it comes out. It wants to move, somebody pulls it back. I wrote a document. May his soul rest in peace. President Nkurunziza. If we had presidents like that, I went to Bujumbura, sat down with him. He told me, my brother Matanga, don't waste, go to the hotel 5 days. That hotel, the suite, is yours. 2, 3 secretaries, very beautiful Burundi girls. And the men, 3 men and 3 girls. They were working for me to type. I typed a document together with my lawyer, Chief Charles Tako. We typed a document, we looked through, and we presented to the United Nations Secretary General. And we said, bye-bye. Bye-bye ICC. Under Article 127, Kwaheri, Mwerava, ICC. We have gone. The marriage is not there anymore. I don't know what you would say in Zulu or Shona or whatever language where you come from, but those are my languages I speak. We said bye-bye to ICC. Nkurunziza sent his foreign minister to give the Secretary General of the United Nations a letter physically saying bye-bye. We see each other in heaven or hell. No more to be in the ICC. Burundi became the first country on African continent to quit ICC. So whatever it is there now, you don't just walk in Burundi and capture one president or capture one man. You have to seek permission from the United Nations Security Council before you go to Burundi. That is what we have decided. And that's the African Union that I want to see. The rest of this Mafikizolo African Union. And you know, there is this chairman of African Union called Dr. Moussa Mahamat Faki from Chad. He is not worth it. Whenever you see him in South Africa, laugh at him. He's not worth it. He's the most useless man in Africa that I have ever come across. You know, he has sold our organization, African Union, into the French. The French have captured us. Everything that we want to do, now he's gathering a group of fake agreement. How can you say you are going to Ukraine and Russia to negotiate? Mr. Ramaphosa, who is going to allow you to negotiate? After you have negotiated, who is going to keep the peace? Who is going to keep the peace? How these African leaders, some of them, they cheat a lot of us. I wish God told us to punish them here. But unfortunately, God has kept his own punishment. That they are going to Russia to negotiate with Ukraine. Hello? If America itself cannot start such a move, who are you? Who are you? This is a waste of taxpayers' money. This is a waste of taxpayers' money. This war is going to end up like Crimea. Do you hear of Crimea again? Any of you here who hears about Crimea? Didn't Russia annex Crimea? It was over. It took over and it sits there. It is the best. You know, if you have gone to Russia, some of you who have never gone there have gone there. Crimea is the best place for having the best life. I don't want to tell you here. The best life is in Crimea. The sunshine like a summer. Oh my God. You can't see what you have never seen. I can't tell you more than that. Thank you very much. Mr. Speaker Aquarium. Paul, thank you very much. I can see you. I greet you. And the rest of you who are here, we meet in the evening on Wandera's space. But for now, Aquarium, bring us to date. And
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Listen, you know, I think it was Womgadi. I hope I'm not butchering the name.
Mugeni, yes, from Uganda.
Mugeni, yes. Mugeni asked what. First of all, I just wanted to address the question that what is the benefit of Africa about Putin? Putin is you know, I'm not sure whether that was a rhetorical question, because this thing is I need to catch my breath because this is an opportunity really to engage each other. You know, Doc, I'm sure we can pretty much see that we as the African, brotherhood, we are very, very disorientated insofar as the modern and postmodern geopolitics generally, and such can be deduced from the sort of content that we've had to experience in this space at this very point in time. First of all, let me just give you an example. People, when United States was in Syria, nobody had raised this question because somewhat, as a superpower, United States is allowed and then to do whatever it has to do. And then people bring and discuss all of these things, that it is a superpower, that Bashar al-Assad was a dictator. But if Bashar was a dictator, on which grounds was America there? Which international law was it operating on to be there? On what moderation, or by which sort of moderation, under which record it had its business there? Well, there was none. But nobody had seemed to ask that conversation. But then when Putin got involved in Syria, after he had been pressed to be involved, people had been pushing him to be involved, he had to put himself together and fulfill all the international law, including a formal ratification by means of an invite by a head of state there in that part of the world. Meaning he was there through an invitation. He did not break a single international human rights law, not a single one. You will never find any crime for his existence there in that part of the country. But people do not argue those things. It's the same reason, or perhaps it's the same logic that is being raised by the speaker here, that what is Putin coming for in Africa? Putin is invited in Africa. Countries are inviting Putin because the course of geopolitics suggests that he is the single-handed leader who is able to withstand the United States. And because the United States had oppressed so many of the sections of the world, that it makes sense when one country is economically and militarily stable and sustainable on its own, that it can demonstrate resistance. Therefore, that country must be associated with. So every other leader wants to stand to Putin. Wants to stand next to Putin, and more so. Let me just drive a few years back, on the backdrop, or rather on the backside of the World Cup.
Yeah. We don't have much time. You've made your point. It's very clear. I want to help you here by saying Britain, Russia, and Putin have got an organization called BRICS, which is Brazil, Russia, India, and China. Several countries in the world have seen the value, have seen the sunset, the sunrise, have opened up their eyes They know they need to have alternative means of survival other than a dollar. You can't be looking at the dollar only all the time. Dollar, 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 dollar. I am sure people in Johannesburg, Pretoria, and Cape Town, most of them, you take, no, don't give me rand, give me dollar. You know, in Uganda, if you give Lukwago, no, send me dollar, David. He would prefer a dollar. So BRICS had a meeting, and I can see, I had given you an invitation a long time as a lady. It had a meeting arranged, and that meeting will take place in South Africa. So many countries, including the ones that US did not think, like Saudi Arabia, would turn on them and go and also be a member of BRICS. I am telling you, Chinese have finished Americans in the Middle East. Iran is shaking hands with Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia is shaking hands with Iran, with Syria. Syria is shaking hands with almost every state. Israel has noticed that, and it is making overtures towards Qatar and all those states. Things are changing for America. America's policy, since it ran away from Afghanistan with their trousers in the knees very early in the morning, as if they were being chased, they just broke and left the Taliban to enter the city of Kandahar, of Kabul. All these cities were occupied by Taliban who slaughtered many people on the way, because if you are working with America, you can't survive. People have no respect for them, and their policy has gone into chaos. So here is where we have a problem. The problem today is America finds itself at crossroads. South Africa, which has indicated that it will stand in and join also as an alternative, independently, BRICS, so many other things. The only thing that they need to sort out is they will sort out their economy, especially the power, bring back power, bring back so many things. They will get that leadership they want, but you can't impose that leadership on them. So the USA is imposing leadership on them. He said, "Oh, why are you trading with Russia? Why did you get arms?" Then can we also question why Morocco sent tanks? Why Morocco, a member of AU, sent tanks to Ukraine? Why? Everybody refused. Spain refused. Everybody refused. Morocco was given tanks to send them to Ukraine. So these are some of the international relations issues that we must grasp so nicely. As I land, let me bring in my sister from Uganda, my sister, a lady who has not talked. We have not had a lady voice here, and I believe my South African friends will have. And then we see how ladies can. You finish it for us, Anita.
Thank you, Dr. Masang. I've been following, though I've been on and off, but I have a very small contribution to make. Someone came and asked, why is Russia coming? Do we need Russia? I think we have to look at other aspects, putting the politics aside, and see what is the connection of Russia and to them, and the fact that Russia is now getting into bed with most of the African continents. What is this for us? We have to realize that we are struggling and we are not there, and we want to go so far. And on this journey, we are not going to make it alone. We cannot walk alone, because even during the time that we were fighting for independence, the fight for what we needed. At one point, we all needed help from the other. So we have to realize that there are some things, if we are to achieve them, we shall need help from countries that they have already made what we need. And since most of we have come to see that when it comes to the Western world, it's not really majorly interested to let us go where we want and be on the same alignment with our purpose, then we have to go with a country that is willing to take us where we are going.
Okay. Anita,
I want us to consider the times of COVID. During that time, I remember we had scarcity of vaccines and all that. I think that should also prove a point on where we should actually get support from. We know what happened when the drugs were not enough, when the vaccines were not enough, how we were abandoned, and Russia was among India, and all those with the Russian all together. They are the ones that came out for us. Then I think Russia coming into Africa is a good thing, though at one point we have to be skeptical at to what extent is it, helping us. But I believe it's a positive thing.
thank you. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, those who are coming in now, my Reverend Bishop, my Reverend in the Methodist Church in London, thank you very much, Madam, for coming. Just clap, just wave to me. I will be very happy. I can see you there. Thank you very much. Thank you for listening. You have come, and unfortunately, we are marking the end of our discussion. We have been here for the last 3 hours, and we have got only 3 minutes to go. I would like to invite Miss Twinkie. Twinkie, how are you?
I'm fine, David. How are you?
Fine, thank you. You be our last speaker now. Just
Okay.
tell us, you have only 1 minute to go, or 2 minutes. Is there any country
Okay.
in the world that can arrest Mr. Putin? Twinkie? Oh, thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much, all of you who have been on this platform. Thank you very much, my co-host. One has gone off. Oh, actually, I had 2. They have all gone. We have done our great part. We have stood by the people of Africa. We have done the greatest that we can do. Ours is a platform to engage. I would like to take this opportunity to tell Reverend that July 14th, 15th, especially July 15th, since you are in London, I would like you to be one of those praying for before I begin the launch of my books. I've written 2 books that I would like to launch on that day in London, in Marriott Super High Marriott Hotel near Heathrow Airport. I will be there launching that book, those 2 books on Africa. And since you are here, I will send you your invitation, which will be coming next week with the way the program is. And those who would like to be online, You'll also be given your particular numbers for entry into the Zoom or the Twitter. You can all contribute the watch, especially on the Zoom. You will be able to watch the events online from the webinar that I will send across the world. So, ladies and gentlemen, I thank you very much, Lukwago. I thank all of you for all the people of DRC Congo. We pray for you that one day you might get peace. And once you get peace, don't forget us. For us, we have just been contributors to peace. We just made suggestions like me. I made a suggestion that the only way to have Congo, if they can't agree, is to have different ways of a confederation where countries can work together, but they all have same autonomous powers to deal with matters of security. Until we do something, Congo is a bleeding pot. Libya is a bleeding nation. Sudan is now a bleeding nation. Instead of America concentrating on helping us to change, to bring peace in those countries, it is helping us, it's telling us to hate Russia, to tell Putin not to come to Africa. I thank you very much. I think Radio Punchline Africa in Nairobi, are you still there? Are you still on the station, Radio Punchline Africa? Radio Punchline Africa in Nairobi. You seem to have gone to sleep, but don't worry. Radio Punchline, I already have the music that you want here. I move with my moving radio. So, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you very much. Thank all of you. Always tag each other. Enjoy by tagging each other so that you don't miss any of the programs. On Monday evening, 9:15 East African time, which is about 7:15 London time, we shall have another show that will work on a topic which I'm going to send you out so that you read and have questions on it. Thank you very much. We thank all of you for having turned up. God bless you. Let's play our national anthem.